Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning into it. And a fine Ballsmic Wednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, hey, we got you. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Do that every day upon the conclusion of the show, and that is brought to you with limited commercial interruption. Our wonderful podcast sponsor, Carlton Dean, carltondean.com, where you can find out more ways to make money in commercial real estate. Hey, it's a good thing. Email the show if you want, jcs at 979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app for your mobile devices, and also you can watch the show performed on a daily basis. If you go to YouTube and type in ESPN Tallahassee, you'll find us. Hello, guys. Hello, Tom.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, Matthew, how are you? You doing all right back there? All right? Everybody good? Good. So I'm curious, as we get started here, if there was ever a time to watch women's softball, it would be tonight, right? It would be when number 1 plays number 2, Florida State, Florida. Really nothing up against it, as Lee just pointed out. Can you be honest in the moment and tell me you're going to watch softball at 7 o'clock tonight?
I can be honest in the moment and tell you no chance.
I'm proud of you, Tom. I thought certainly you were about to tell me the opposite. You were going to say, in order to get along, that you were going to tune in to tonight's epic softball matchup with all the surrounding hype to go with.
I have integrity, and that's not to say that softball doesn't. I'm just saying that I'm telling you the truth. And I know that nobody's going to be watching whether or not I'm watching, but I'll be honest and tell you I'm not watching.
You won't be watching it. It's not a principled stance. It's just that you don't enjoy it.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
You know, the truth of the matter is even darker than we want to admit. And this probably gets us even in more trouble than admitting that we won't watch softball, even when it's 1 versus 2 in an in-state rivalry involving 2 of the nation's best teams in a big moment.
An incredible program at Florida State, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, the truth of the matter is the only way you would be watching is if those were scantily clad women playing softball and they were models. Maybe you'd watch softball then. You don't know?
I don't know.
I don't think I would either.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to be. No,
I didn't watch for Jenny Finch,
softball.
and that's what everybody points to. Like, oh, yeah, softball, Jenny Finch.
I know, but
Thursday nights with beer leagues. Yeah. I know the sport.
I'm making fun of ourselves a little bit here. But at the same time, I was trying to find a scenario by which you would tune in to softball. Like, what would it take? Like, I went with the extreme sexist example because more often than not, we're simple creatures. Men are visual. And there's no running around that and denying that. There's no cause in that. That's how we are. And so I would figure something like that would lure you in to watch a sport you don't care about, like softball. You know, a lot of ass or something might get you to watch that, but it's not going to happen.
No, this is not the WCWS, right? Not yet. This is just a regular season
Is that
matchup.
The Women's College World Series?
Yes. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Now,
okay.
What if I'm wrong? What if it is?
No, it couldn't
No,
be.
it's not. Of course it's not.
Because we have been pissed off for weeks on end flipping to ESPN and seeing softball on the screen. So it couldn't possibly be that yet.
You will watch that. I have watched that.
Sure.
When we've made it out there, I've watched.
In all honesty, make it out there, especially if it's the last game, which, you could see these 2 teams facing off for the title.
Oh, goodness,
6 outs
I'm locked
to get.
in.
6 outs to get. All right, I'm in. I could stay tuned for 6 outs.
Not only that, I would be a complete hypocrite. I would not only just watch, I'd be locked in. I might even try to share some sort of expertise I'd pretend to have. I mean, I would be locked in watching a College World Series or Women's College World Series softball matchup between Florida State. Really,
Yeah.
Florida State and anybody.
No, you would
Florida State and anybody.
You would jump into the point where if they did finish the job, you'd tweet out, "We won!"
Oh, I want my shirt. I want my shirt.
Infuriating, "We won."
Oh, I want my shirt. I'll have the coach on and everything. I think I've had the coach on before.
You'll be like a Rays fan in 2008.
Or any Cubs fan currently. No, I would think, or that you run across, it seems. It's not completely fair, I understand. But, yeah, no, I wonder. I just thought, because I heard the local sports center, and I'll tell you what I am proud of, and this is a sad thing to boast. I knew that game was being played, Tom.
That's impressive.
I mean, I'm willing to
proud
bet
of you.
right now you did not know.
No, I had no idea, but I know that we have trouble with UF. Like the way the baseball program is currently having trouble with UF, the softball program is having issues with our
Well, they're
neighbors
good. They're
down in Gainesville.
they're like ranked number 1.
Yeah, but I mean, can't beat them kind of thing.
Well, but they're ranked number 1. You're gonna have trouble with anybody that's like considered to be the best in the country
Yeah,
at what
but,
they do.
I mean, like inept, and we've been right up there in top 5,
Right.
top 3, and,
Yeah.
and been number 1 this year. I do know that this program's been number 1 this year.
So you're aware of previous struggles, are you? You're getting past a note now.
Lost 17 of their last 18 against Florida. As this
Matthew, just look that up, did he?
Matthew with
Good job.
with
He's
the
becoming a show
softball note.
contributor now. That's what I like to see. So
I think he's doing his homework for the front row because they gave you equal opportunity to all the sports in
they
Florida
do.
State,
They
Olympic
talk,
sports.
right?
You
They
name
talk
it.
about things that, yeah.
And that's listen,
No, there's a place for that.
there is.
And they do a wonderful job. I'm not even being sarcastic here.
Me
I'm
either.
just saying I don't really care about softball, and I'm not going to start pretending like I do now just because we're on the show and it would be the thing to say when 1 versus 2 in a rivalry is happening. But I knew you'd be honest in the moment. That's why I didn't even tell you about that question. I wanted to see if Lee was going to include it in his sports center, and he did. And I thought, there's my opportunity.
If
I
he
can
did,
go-
and you asked me who is Florida State playing in
Yeah, I
softball
would.
tonight,
I think I would have.
I wouldn't have gotten it right. Or you could have said, is Florida State playing softball tonight? I would say.
You would have thought that's the
It's an odd
strangest
question.
That's the
If the
strangest
answer is
beginning.
no.
Like we've had some really crazy beginnings to shows because I don't always traditionally start the way that you're supposed to start a show. I don't know why I don't like doing it. Maybe it's laziness. I don't know, but we've had some weird tops of hours where you've kind of looked quizzically at. Oh, so this is what we're doing here. This is how we're starting the hour. You've given me that look before, and that's fine. That's fine. I halfway expect it. But if I randomly started a Wednesday show in May and said, are the women playing softball tonight? That would have been number 1. That would have been the weirdest way to start a show. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Does anybody know, are the women playing some softball tonight?
Now, and this happens with the Olympics, I get locked into this particular sport. Men's and women's indoor, outdoor volleyball, I do enjoy.
I love it. Volleyball's
And-
awesome.
and
I
the
like
ladies-
volleyball, period. I'll
Okay.
watch volleyball. Random matches between people I've never heard
It's
of.
compelling television.
It is. It's
And-
also fun to play.
and this-
As is softball.
Well, yeah, if you're with your boys on
Yeah,
Wednesday, the
softball's
City
fun.
League,
Yeah, it's good stuff.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
You might even, suffer an injury playing.
I have, yeah. I've also had some towering blasts that are still talked about.
There you go.
So that's, yeah.
But yeah, the beach volleyball teams at Gulf Shores, Alabama this weekend. They're the number 4 seed in the national championship.
Well, that's the beach volleyball team.
the beach volleyball. Didn't I say beach or I say
You
indoor?
said beach.
Okay,
But
yeah.
earlier you talked about indoor.
Either or.
I like
No.
indoor.
I will watch either or.
I like the beach for the obvious reason, but I like indoor.
But the beach is great because you got 4 or 5 matches going on at one time, and so they can cut to the one that
So
matters
what we're
the
saying
most.
is we like volleyball more as a sport, period.
Than softball?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch a good volleyball match with the best of them. Doesn't even matter.
these are televised. These NCAAs. I dare you to watch it. You'd enjoy yourself.
I would because I like volleyball. It's not softball. It's more-
It was the royal you,
yeah.
the greater population.
I'm glad that you didn't know we were. I guess I'm not glad. That's the wrong way to phrase it. I think it's great that you had no idea we were playing softball tonight, or at least that you would admit to it, and that you're not going to watch it, even though it's 1 versus 2, and there's really nothing else on. Of course, that's not true either. There's NBA playoffs. There is always Major League Baseball, which is compelling. So, yeah, and really, frankly, there's just standing outside and looking at the sun, all of which is more interesting than watching softball.
I mean, I might even watch, the rerun. I might tape it and watch, Sports Center 6, and maybe I'll watch that at
You
7 o'clock instead.
I'm choosing softball over that. You found something.
Me too. Okay.
If you said you got a choice, FSU versus Florida in softball, 1 versus 2 tonight, or what's it called? The 6?
They call it the 6, I think. SC6.
I think I'm going with the softball.
Okay. How about if it's, pardon the interruption, or FSU UF 1 versus 2 softball?
Going with the softball.
Really?
Well,
Over PTI?
PTI's regressed to a place that
Okay.
Wilbon's insufferable. So we're done here.
I'm not even going to ask about Around the Horn.
Oh, no, that's always been garbage. So that's not, there's no, where are we at now? All going with softball.
A rerun of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Never cared about Star Trek. Softball it is.
Okay. See, a lot
Keep
of people
going.
who don't care about Star Trek like The Next Generation as a show.
No.
No? Okay.
No. It's
Keep
like
going,
it's
he
akin to
says.
watching dragons and stuff. No. I
Okay.
got no cause for that.
Austin City Limits.
Okay, well, that's going to beat out softball any day of the week.
I'm trying to think of a proper band that would be tough for you.
Oh, for me to stomach?
Yeah.
Well, they typically
311.
well, they
Millar's
wouldn't-
favorite.
First of all, Austin City Limits would not invite a garbage band
wouldn't
like
welcome
311 onto the stage. Everybody would be like, "What the hell's going on with Austin City Limits? 311's here. Did they lose a bet?" I mean, there would be no, there's no way.
Willie's been losing it a little bit, so we have to
No,
give it a
wouldn't-
crowd of disparity so they can appreciate what's left of Willie.
no, we wouldn't do that. That's
So you'd watch the softball over
I'd
a
watch
311 live performance.
Oh, I'd watch paint dry over 311's live performance. I mean, there's not a lot. I mean, what are we doing here? That's a terrible example because I'm not gonna. No, I'm not listening to 311. I mean, I can watch you tie your shoes repeatedly for 2 hours over watching 311 live. I would do that. I would do it. Hey, so I want to add to this because we got a lot of emails from it, and thanks for the emails for yesterday's show. It was fantastic. You're right. But we got people asking questions about some of the numbers, and I know I saw the rundown. I think tonight the guys from the front row are going to add to this, and I think I didn't hear Wake Up War Chant, but maybe Ryan did too. It's a topic. It's a big topic, but I didn't know. We brought out the numbers about how much money ESPN's losing. And the rights deals and how much they owe, and it's insane. Listen to this real quick. I want to do a little bow on that subject, and we'll move on, right? Just to put a little ribbon on it. Since August 2013, ESPN has lost 10.8 million subscribers and is now in 86.9 million homes. And that's, as we all know, because consumers have decided basically to do away with traditional cable for the most part in satellite service, and so the cord cutters, et cetera. ESPN charges cable operations. I have a question at the end of all this. ESPN charges cable operations $7 per month, which is by far the most of any cable network. So ESPN charging out the wazoo.
More than a CNN or
More than anybody.
Yes, a Food Network. Yeah.
That's right. ESPN subscriber loss translates to more than $900 million in lost revenue over the last couple of years. $900 million they've lost. 900. Yes.
And counting.
And
because
yes,
people are saying
every day.
no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The rights fees, as we talked about on yesterday's show, that have skyrocketed. ESPN has a total, now listen to this number. ESPN has a total of $39 billion committed to just the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and college football. Those four sports, they've got $39 billion tied up in. And that's, I mean, if you look at the other sports where they've allocated money, it's insane. Okay, so use the SEC network, $150 million. If you look at just carrying the Rose Bowl in 2014, $37.5 million. MLS, $8 million. U.S. Open, an 11-year deal, $825 million to carry it through 2025. The American Athletic Conference, they signed a 7-year deal, $130 million. So, I mean, I just named the $39 billion tied up in college football, the NFL, MLB, NBA. And then go back through and start looking at all these others. It's insane.
Well, and, you know, there's a little bit of news today about the NFL and streaming rights, and Verizon secured the contract to stream one NFL game this year. It's a 9:30 a.m. start.
The London.
And
the
it's
annual Jaguar game.
Ravens and Jags.
Yeah, of course. They're shipped their ass over there every year.
Verizon paid for one game $21 million for the rights to stream exclusively Ravens and Jags.
So let's talk about this. When you have these rights fees and you choose to pay them as a network, just as, and I want to be careful here, we were privy to inside knowledge when we worked at CC. And so when we were there, our company, at the time towards the end when I was getting ready to leave, we went from the rights holders of Florida State Sports.
Right, flagship in Tallahassee.
Flagship in Tallahassee, to deciding not to go and do that again. And there was a cost attached to that, of course. So when you make that decision, when you decide that you're going to invest and become the flagship, you're agreeing to pay whatever FSU is asking, right? Whatever that is. So let's just say that number is $300,000. All right.
So you can wrap the vans, with the logo.
Well, right. So that you have the rights, you're the flagship station, and your stations carry the various events that Florida State is throwing out there, right? So when you decide to do that and pay the $300,000, you're saying that we can pay that because we're going to make more than that with the advertising we sell and carrying the football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is.
Or
right?
500 or 100 or 800, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. But the point is, you're saying you're only going to ever agree to do that if it's profitable. Or if you're a company that is so big that you could absorb a loss in that niche. So maybe you're a multifaceted company and you delve into millions of other things and you say, well, this greatly enhances our reputation to have, say, the NFL, like ESPN does. We can never make back through advertising the $14 billion we just spent on the NFL. But what this does to enhance our brand long-term leads to dollars everywhere else, and we can absorb that loss to be the big dog and have the rights to all this other stuff, and we'll make it back in some other areas.
Sure, if you were a local rights holder for radio, you'd say, all right, so we're going to put this on the biggest stick that we have.
Right.
And so that's typically
watts, 200,000 watts,
the country station, right?
Yeah.
People are going to be more apt to stick with the country station for music, therefore ratings are going to go up, and therefore even though we have to pay X amount of dollars for the rights, well, the ratings are going to make up for the fact that we don't, make the X amount back in just Florida State-specific advertising. That's the decision you got to make.
Well, only if you can sell it, because ratings are just ratings.
Sure.
So you got to sell.
But that's the decision you got to make.
Sell said good ratings.
Is it worth it to pay the rights over to them in a flat fee? Well, I'm sure it's an installment for that kind of money, but in a flat fee, and then can you make it back in non-traditional ways, non-direct means?
Yeah.
Because there's no way that if Verizon is paying $21 million to stream one NFL game, that they're going to make $21 million back in advertising because somebody else would have bid $25 for it. You know what I mean?
Well, what they're going to tell you is a greater form of advertisement for Verizon you cannot find. So they're spending their advertising budget on that purchase for Verizon. And then, of course, they can make millions back on that purchase, though.
Sure.
I think they can.
Well, and you can bet, too, that obviously Verizon can throw their numbers for their subscribers at potential consumers. And this is the new wave. I mean, so they're going to be more efficient than, say, ESPN would be to dump, $30 million into one Monday Night Football broadcast or whatever it breaks down to. But still, what they're looking for, I'm sure, and what the NFL promised them are certain mentions and certain maybe the NFL Red Zone this year on cable has a couple more Verizon mentions than
you
it would.
would think, and I would imagine the scratching to the back is probably a laundry list of things that will take place.
21 million is only a portion of that.
You're not just getting a game. Certainly not. But that's always, for people that don't know, that's how it works. That's why it's always interesting. And we saw, and in some ways I'll connect this now, going back to our conversation yesterday and the start of today, when you talk about the changing landscape of how people, again, consume their entertainment, and in this case sports, and what platforms those are going to take on and all of that, we saw this. I don't want to call it troubling. It's just a shift in what people will and will not pay for. It's just a changing climate, and you have to adapt. And it's sometimes it's unfortunate. Some things get put on the back burner that we deem to be important, and others don't. Whatever that might be, but. You go all the way back to that time of which I speak, in which we were deciding to decline to move forward as the flagship station. Well, part of that was they didn't feel like they could get their money back in sales. And then, moreover, we saw a shift across the country where most stations that were now bidding for the rights to carry a university's games or whatever it might be were bidding considerably less than they had, say, 10 years previous. It was deemed to be the thing to have for a long period of time. And universities could charge it depending on the size of the university and the popularity of the sport. But if you're a top 10 school or something like that, you could ask for $600,000, if not more, for the rights to carry those games.
Yeah, Lord knows what like Georgia or Alabama was in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah, so you could go.
Whoa, even now, what is it now in that freaking state?
In those markets, but
they got nothing.
But what I'll say though is that across the board, you began to see that stations were saying to universities, "You've lost your mind." 600,000 quickly became 300,000, which quickly became 150,000. People started saying, "We can't get our money back. We're never going to do this." No. And so they just stopped. So the trend of people paying exorbitant fees for the rights to sporting events began to shift a while ago. And now you're just seeing it catch up to some of these networks that paid way too much for the rights to carry the NFL, or in ESPN's case, truly, the NBA.
Yeah, what's fantastic to watch for me is, okay, so the networks like CBS, NBC, especially those two, were going head-to-head for who gets the rights on Thursday Night Football. When it's not being broadcast on NFL Network, who's going to get the NFL on Thursday night? That was a big bidding war, and it was a lot of money that CBS ended up paying for the rights, and then there's now NBC's involved this season.
Right.
But CBS got that first year's deal, and the money was just crazy. At what point does that network say, well, I could run NCIS on Thursday, and for whatever reason, it seems like 12% of the country watches this show.
Just like JAG.
And it costs me how much compared?
Is JAG still on?
I don't think so.
A little aside as
well. But the
talking.
NCIS is the present-day JAG of 10, 15 years ago.
Inexplicably popular.
It's just on at all senior citizen homes or something.
It's just
That's got to be what it is.
Yeah.
But at what point does a network executive say it's not worth it anymore? They're doing that more and more, but the NFL's best friend or college football's best friend at any of the big conferences is that FS1 fancies itself a player, and that NBC Sports fancies itself as a player, so you can dangle that carrot out to ESPN when it comes for renewal time, telling them, well, you're going to lose this deal. You need to pay the money. You need to pay it up front, and you need to pay a lot of it. But at some point, the networks are going to wise up and say...
ESPN just did. I mean, they just started making room. They just started admitting through their actions that they made a mistake.
Well, what happens?
And they won't make it again.
But what happens with the sports leagues at that point?
Well, they're going to be divvied up. This is all going to get divvied up. ESPN, and if you look at what ESPN did, what they basically told you is F baseball, F hockey, F everything that's not the NBA or the NFL. That's basically what they told you.
Yeah, but at what point, and collusion is a very dangerous and illegal thing, but at what point does a network exec, they're golfing on a weekend from Fox and ESPN and NBC.
Yeah.
They're on the third hole.
Yeah, conversations happen, sure.
This thing is crippling to our business. And I know,
John,
you guys are trying to catch us and be us.
God.
But, the paint inside of the building isn't as nice. We haven't replaced it in years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
can't afford to, John.
Maybe the bidding war just changes a little bit.
Mm.
And then at what point would the NFL come back and say something like, well, then we're just going to use the NFL Network. We don't need you, middleman, because we can bring it direct to the consumer through social media, through the internet. But we don't need your television channel anymore. You guys are ancient.
Well, and also, I mean, it may be mutual at this point, because I feel like if you're ESPN and you paid what you paid for the NFL, how angry you must be that you don't have everything before everybody else. And they don't. They get a few allowances, if you will, from the NFL. But, man, and I get that the NFL has a network too, and they're going to feed their guys to the NFL network. Go back. Think about this. We saw this play out firsthand at Jameis Winston's draft party. So we go to Jameis's draft party, and that was a really cool event. And one of the highlights, I'm never going to be at
That's
a guy.
Unique. Yeah.
Well, think about it. I'm never going to be. You're never going to be. We don't think. At a guy's house or an event where the person there is being drafted number one, and you're there to. I mean, it's great.
Not until Clark does.
So we're there, but we watch the NFL Network set up their cameras and their guys, and then we watch ESPN do the same. And it's kind of fascinating in that it seems to me both thought they were going to get him first, and it was abundantly clear that Jameis's family were going to go talk to the NFL Network first, because screw ESPN, which had just drug his name through the mud for months on end. They were done with it. But if I'm ESPN and I've spent all that money to have the rights, and we're carrying the draft, and we're spending literally billions of dollars. I better get, Rinaldi better damn well get Jameis Winston first. And every other first that I can think of that happens ought to be coming my way for what we're spending, over $14 billion for the NFL. But the NFL doesn't do that with ESPN. They parse that out. You see some things that I would have thought would have been, at the very least, proprietary towards ESPN given the contract. It doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, well, and the other layer to the story is the generator.
Well, that was just funny.
Yeah, they don't have power in the truck.
Well, then when they finally do it,
and then they're asking the
NFL
NFL Network, hey, guys, do you have anything?
The NFL Network's like, get the hell up out of here.
I got
something for you.
There's a certain bird that exists in the wild, and here it is.
It was hilarious to watch it all play out. And we got to see Rinaldi hand him the note. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
For them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you. Someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050. Check out your many DeWalt FlexVolt options at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, your FlexVolt headquarters. Buy any of the following T1 DeWalt FlexVolt kits for $2.99, 60-volt max grinder kit or 60-volt max brushless reciprocating saw kit, and add one 60-volt DeWalt battery pack for less than half price. See store for details. FlexVolt, power of corded, freedom of cordless. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
Today, there are over 47 million Ford vehicles on the road, rolling on over 188 million tires. That's a lot of rubber to trust to anyone other than a hardworking specialist at Ford Service. No one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $140 rebate by mail on 4 select tires when you use the Ford Service credit card at the Big Tire event. Subject to credit approval, rebate by prepaid debit card. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 6/30/17.
Welcome to Staples.
Staples guy, I just got to town and I need a presentation printed for a big meeting tomorrow.
Well, Staples has everything you need to print, scan, and fax.
Great. Oh, just got a text. The home office made changes to the presentation.
No problem. You can access your files from a USB, email, or the cloud.
And the meeting isn't tomorrow, now it's today.
Our machines are self-service, so there's no waiting.
And it's not here. Now it's in Ebensburg.
I hear it's lovely this time of year.
Print, scan, fax, and copy at Staples. Your office away from home.
Okay, so you're telling me that Beef O'Brady's has buy one, get one free deals?
Free fish and chips!
Free boneless wing basket!
Free chicken nachos!
That's what I call an order. Buy one, get one free every Thursday in May at Beef's.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-419-2201. 800-419-2201. 800-419-2201. That's 800-419-2201. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details. Not available in all states.
TNT Supercenter has a brand new star to show off. They are now the area's new Star EV golf cart dealer. In celebration of this, they are offering 2017 Star EV golf carts loaded with class-leading features for only $4,999. Here are just a few of the standard features on the brand new Star: automotive styling, flush mount headlights and taillights, golf bag holder with sweater basket, and a 4-year warranty. Other options available as well. TNT and Star Car EV are on a mission to put a golf cart in every driveway. 14585 Highway 19, South Thomasville, Georgia. 229-228-5297 or online at tntsupercenter.com.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
At Jay Cameron Show, what note? Oh, that note, I don't know what it said, but it was Rinaldi giving advice.
It was the most public-private moment you'll ever see.
Here's a little note for you, Jameis. Now, I guess I should say this because that could be deemed somewhat nefarious, but he, from what I could gather, he liked Jameis quite a bit. I think Rinaldi did. I know Herbstreit did.
Well, and when Rinaldi was well received in the athletic offices, too, as fair. During that whole period of time. There were a lot that weren't welcome anymore.
Oh, there were some told with no uncertainty.
But Rinaldi was not on that list. So not just Jameis, but,
No, listen, look, he's a cheese ball, and it's creepy the way he looks at the camera and smiles, and all of that stuff is true. But he's good at what he does. He's a pretty good writer. He writes his pieces, and he delivers. So, I mean, sometimes it's a little awkward. He looks like a mannequin, but, I mean, all right. But he's good at what he does. And I think, frankly, now that I go back and look and think about this, I don't recall him doing anything that took that huge leap where assumptions are made and facts ignored. I don't think he was involved in that. I can think of countless people that did, but he's not on that list. So, right. I think that's why he stayed in good standing, because he kept it down the line.
Well, and, let's be honest, too. When you're the number one overall pick in the NFL draft, you have to allow somebody to come in, but you can tell ESPN and
who you want to come in, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah. So there was that. Kurt writes, by the way, your show has me thinking about dropping cable altogether. Love your show, but don't care for ESPN. Here's the thing about ESPN. We'll be careful. We'll tread lightly here. ESPN, their live sports, they do a good job. I mean, they do a very good job. I think, like with any other network, you can take or leave a number of other programming decisions, right? There are shows you're just not going to like, but that's across the board. That's true of this show, just as it is a Feinbaum's show or Lebertard's show or anybody's show. I mean, you may hate me and love them. You may love me and hate them. I don't know. Or you could be lukewarm about all. But we all do that. We all have our preferences of shows for whatever reason. And that's not unique to ESPN. That's Fox has that, and NBC, MSNBC, and all those. Everybody has that. Their programming to in certain areas of their programming catered to it could be catered to women, could be catered to men, could be catered to a specific sport. I mean, all of that is true, and so what they try to give you is enough variety that you'll like something that they're doing. All I ask is, even if it's not my cup of tea, that you're fair and that the people who perform those duties do so with integrity. I may not like the show. Like, for example, I'll give you a good example. We were talking about the direction that ESPN, that SportsCenter's gone now, where basically SportsCenter doesn't exist. Everything back in the day was designed around good writing, highlight shows, and personalities. You go back to the tandem of the teams that they invested in. That's how ESPN got famous, is that you liked highlight shows as hosted by, in one case, of course, you would say, whether it was Keith and Dan, Keith Olbermann and obviously Dan
Patrick.
You could, those two were the most popular, but there were a number of tandems that lots of people loved, whether Stuart Scott, Rich Eisen, those guys. Yeah,
I think the last vestige of that right now is Neil Everett and Stan Verrett out in L.A.
Yeah,
they do a show that is much more closely related to what I grew up
what
with,
you grew up
and
with.
What you knew with ESPN than what it is now by and large.
But they went away from that, and okay, fine, they chose to go away from that, but the highlights were still the centerpiece. But that's been rendered no longer relevant because you can get highlights anywhere in real time, and you don't have to wait for SportsCenter to be told what happened and to see what happened. You can do that right here, right now. If it's 7:30 and somebody hits a home run, I pull up my phone and I go, somebody just went yard, and I press the button that told me they just went yard, and I see it now.
Well, think about the nightly news on major broadcast networks.
Yeah.
Is that the thing that everybody huddles around their television?
Like
while
Walter
they're eating?
Cronkite back in the day. Well, first of all,
Scott Pelley's great, but it's not like it was.
Well, no, and I came home to a house at 6:00 where everybody watched the news. That's what you did, and you got the world news. And frankly, you felt like it was fair, and you felt like it was something you needed to know, and everybody sat down and did that. And then, of course, that is somewhat irrelevant too. It's not irrelevant at all, but it's less relevant than it was.
Well, it's not presented in the same way.
Certainly not presented the same way either. Yeah, but that said, I mean, that's not the fault of ESPN. Where ESPN screwed up, just in terms of seeing all these cuts, is they failed to project that this was what was going to happen. Frankly, everybody did. And that's why they're having to cut, in the span of 3 years, 400-plus employees. I don't think they can ever get it back. It will never be as it was. When you hear people recite constantly the ratings for baseball or any number of other sports, they'll say things like, well, you go back to 1978 and clearly baseball was still the great American pastime. Look at these numbers. They had a choice of 3 stations. I mean, when you played Monday Night Baseball, which was a thing, you were going to get a pretty good-sized audience because they had a choice of 2 other stations. That's all they had. They couldn't go find another game, another sport, another movie or something. You were pretty well stuck.
It's a more watered-down version of the end of Tommy Boy when, he's making his stand and the waitress says, you want this or Gladiators? And everybody in the restaurant goes, Gladiators, and they flip on. And that was even worse. Back in you grew up. How many channels did you have when you were
when I was little?
First in the States, and you can remember.
Well, okay, so let's go to my time at SAP. It's Channel 8, Channel 10, Channel 13. So that's 8, 10, and 13. Then you had 44, which is WTOG. You had PBS, which is 3. So PBS is 3, 44 WTOG, 8, 10, 13. That's ABC, NBC, CBS. And then later on, Fox came on board.
Which they took over TVT on 13.
That's right. That's it.
There you go. So, of course, there are going to be more eyes on sets. If MASH was around now, do you think it would be the phenomenon that it is from a rating standpoint?
Numbers, and also that's a subject in and of itself. Finding good TV and quality shows has become more difficult. You don't know where to look. There are quality programs across the board. That's great that there are more of them independently. You're not so, locked into having to hope like hell somebody gets it together and puts together a good show on CBS. Well, I've got tons of choices, but it also gets mired in the clutter of hundreds of other shows.
The difficulty that ESPN has faced is, yes, you're right, the highlight, the centerpiece of everything that they brought to the table.
It's been rendered useless.
Okay.
Not useless, but useless as a centerpiece.
Right, because it's not news at that point.
No,
you've already seen it.
You've already seen it. You know about it. You hear about it, yeah.
Maybe there's a personality, not so much these days, but maybe there is a personality that you want to hear how they present that topic, and maybe there's an analyst who you want to hear talk about the games. Okay, that could work. But ESPN realizes that the highlight is no longer the center of everything. It's about how you spin it. And who has to say what about it?
Right. Well, and I think that bothers people, but that's
the choice they made though with what they're dealt with, which is
they have to do that. That they're in competition with everybody else who's
which
doing
way
that.
do you go? And they chose to go this direction, which rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
Well, because they're saddened that they're losing their old reliable ESPN, but that's not ESPN's. I don't think that was ESPN's choice. I think their hand was forced in that direction. They saw that now they made some mistakes, obviously, and they overbid in some areas. And obviously, if they didn't charge $7,
gave out some contracts to some folks that you go, well, okay,
yeah, that was a mistake. Well, listen,
and that is an option. Yes, it is an option.
I'll give you a perfect example though. Where they misstepped is so they're paying over $700 million a year for Major League Baseball. They invested in having MLB. Well, okay, look, they just did that. I think it was less than 5 years ago that they just re-upped that. It might have been 2014 that they just did that. So if you're going to now make a commitment, you have to go all in. You have to carry it and cover it in a way that makes it uniquely yours so that we want to come see what you have because you got the best of the best and I can trust these reporters and they present it in such a way it's informative. I learn more and I get more access. That's what you're paying for. That's what you've decided to do. So then 2.5 years later, they decide that's a mistake, and they cut some of these guys that have been covering this for us for 20-plus years. What are we doing?
Yeah, the old way is kind of very much like what Sunday Night Football is like on NBC. Think about all the people that they have to cover this one game of the week. They have the set with Dan Patrick and Tony Dungy and Rodney Harrison, and then they kick over to Florio and Peter King for breaking news updates, and then Bob Costas for whatever reason, and he's not doing it as much anymore. I think Tirico's going to take it over.
He do his commentary,
but he does his commentary, and then Hines Ward is there for 30 seconds. I don't know why.
Nobody does.
But then you have the guys in the booth and Michelle Tafoya on the field, but they're giving you the feeling that this is the biggest day. I mean, look at the Carrie Underwood intro to the show.
Worst thing in television.
It is, but they're trying to project this is the biggest deal in the world. We got you covered wall to wall. We staffed too many people for it.
Nobody can bring it to you like we can. And here's proof.
But the problem is that ESPN doesn't have a whole lot to do in the NFL. Monday Night Football is typically the slate sucks. You can't flex into it in November and December.
And again, this gets back to what I said. If I'm spending $14 billion on football, screw you, man. I'm flexing my Monday night game so people aren't watching Bengals Jags.
Yeah.
I'm flipping to something that somebody's going to give a damn about once I recognize who's good and who's not.
Yeah, screw your week of preparation.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Okay, MLB Network. We love MLB Tonight. It's the flagship show.
Really good.
What would it be without the cutaways? What would it be without the ability to go into the ballpark and comment?
It's awesome.
That's
we
the
watch
problem.
entire at-bats with experts, both hitting and pitching experts. You have Hall of Famers.
Yes.
In the case of Pedro Martinez, watching a pitch sequence, telling you what they're going to throw and why, or John Smoltz, who's fantastic. And then you've got guys that were, at the very least, accomplished hitters like Mike Lowell and others saying, well, he's going to be looking inside fastball here. And you are gaining real-time knowledge with a live at-bat, not to mention the best HD in all of sports. It's crazy what they have. That's what we want. That's what we clamor for.
But that's what ESPN can't provide now.
They can't do that now.
The only time they ever did that, and I got excited when it would happen, even if the Mets game was scheduled for Monday Night Baseball.
Yeah.
And it was rained out. You know what they would do? They would do exactly what MLB did. They do whip-arounds to the best situations around the country. And MLB Tonight figured out that's what people want in the generation with no attention spans, and that's what we can provide because we're the freaking league. NFL Red Zone's kind of like that, except it doesn't give you analysis on the fly. They don't have a studio guy, and they don't just give you the piped-in audio of the stadium.
Well,
they cut to each broadcast team.
What's fun about a subject like this, as it's relevant to sports, but it actually bleeds over, of course, into all forms of journalism and the presentation of a broadcast or the writing of a story, is that you give up something to get something, and ESPN's had to give up a lot to stay relevant and compete. But what we don't get as viewers, readers, writers, whatever it might be, is that really thorough, in-depth analysis that really, frankly, we're all craving. We want to know more about our best players, about our best games, our best teams, all that. But that's what they're giving up now in order to be able to go like this right here, right now, and keep your attention span.
Wasn't it great to watch these last handful of years when the coaches sit down for the national championship game of the
that
megacast?
Broadcast, yeah.
I mean, that's a model that you could really get behind. If you could find a way as ESPN to have that available every Monday night, have former coaches just talking.
What's going to come and why, and yeah.
It's not McDonough and Gruden, but you got a collection of 5 or 6 minds talking about what's going on in the game. I think that's something that you could offer as part 2 on ESPN2, since you've got nothing else to run.
What'll be funny, too, and I'll be interested to see, and I know we're up against it, but like 10, 15 years from now, what the fallout is from all of this, right? This idea that, okay, we can see everything now, and as consumers, we have more access to information and to audio and video and action across sports leagues in real time than ever before. But you never, I bitch about this all the time, and if you talk to an 18-year-old who's not old for his age, but rather 18, and you talk to them about the fundamentals of a game or the philosophy behind a game plan, you'll hear gibberish back because they don't see it, because it goes from game to game to game. There's a field goal, there's a touchdown, there's a block kick, there's this, but you don't see what led to any of that. So the actual vetting of the game, the understanding of how we got to that place, is completely lost on somebody who grew up on Red Zone.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
The Furniture Bank of Tallahassee, a division of Echo, is the only local program that collects and distributes gently used furniture free of charge to Leon County residents in need. Our free furniture bank donates to eligible clients such as families recovering from fire or disaster, formerly homeless clients moving into their own homes, and veterans in a rehousing program. In 2016, we helped 138 families, including 33 vets, rebuild their lives. For more information or to have your furniture picked up, call 224-ECHO. Call 224-ECHO.
Okay, so you're telling me that Beef O'Brady's has buy one, get one free deals?
Free fish and chips!
Free boneless wing basket!
Free chicken nachos!
That's what I call an order. Buy one, get one free every Thursday in May at Beef's.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-419-2201. 800-419-2201. 800-419-2201. That's 800-419-2201. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details. Not available in all states.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford. Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Two-minute segment means I got to tell you something quick, so I'll tell you this. My favorite part about last night was watching 5'9" Isaiah Thomas drop 50-plus in an overtime victory. But moreover, the Wizards calling a timeout in the waning seconds of the fourth quarter of a tie game, 114 all, in order to allow the Celtics to get their best defensive lineup on the floor. Man, guys get paid a lot of money to coach. And sometimes you see things and go, really? Moment got the best of you there, did it? We pay you millions not to let that happen.
What's crazy to me is that that's a staff failure too, because
somebody's got to tell. Yeah.
If I get, caught up in the moment, let's say that
it's a weakness.
We're in the heat of the moment on a remote.
Like,
and typically brother, I forget this one thing,
I should start reminding you.
There it is.
Or vice versa.
If Les Miles gets lost in the heat of the moment on the sideline with 30
As he
seconds
does
to go.
At the end of games, or did every year at least once.
And it happens across sports. Like, how is it that there hasn't been a franchise yet that boasts that it has a quality control coach who's there for clock management and substitution patterns?
Yeah, the closing seconds of that game cost, or the regulation, cost Washington everything. And so now they're down 0-2 instead of going back 1-1. But anyhow, I mean, I'm indifferent about who wins that series. That story, I'm not so cynical and jaded as to just get tired of a great story like that. That's not something you get tired of. I mean, it's on his sister's birthday, and he's dropping 50-plus in a game like that, and heroically, as much as sports can be, that's a performance I can't fathom.
In a time of could you
unbelievable grief. Unbelievable grief. No, I can't imagine. And when I do imagine, I get choked up, so I'm not going to imagine. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
GMC Cadillac High School Scholar Athletes of the Year, Leon's Anna K. Ford and Rickard's Taven Jackson are both awarded $2,500 scholarships to help start their college careers. These scholarships wouldn't be possible without our friends at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac, continuing to help support high school athletics throughout the Big Bend. Visit them on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee, or by visiting them online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac.com. From the folks at Dale Jr. and us right here at 97.9 ESPN Radio, congratulations to this year's winners, Leon's Anna K. Ford and Rickard's Taven Jackson.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who've surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and pick up 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $27.95 and earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine from sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You check things all the time, like your email every 10 seconds, or your ex's Instagram. But what about checking something as important as your credit? Well, Discover makes it quick, easy, and best of all, free. Discover is now offering FICO credit scores to everyone for free, even if you're not a customer. And checking your score won't hurt your credit. We call it the Discover Credit Scorecard. And once you know your score, you should check to see if your current credit card is the best fit for you. Check your credit, compare your card. Go to discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. Florida State Baseball has the week off before a 4-game set with Pacific at Hauser over the weekend. 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. That leaves the spotlight on tonight's softball game between Florida and Florida State. It's number 1 against number 2. First pitch set for 7 o'clock. NBA last night, Boston is now up 2-0 against Washington, while the Warriors take out Utah in game 1 of their series. Tonight, Toronto looks to even up the series with the Cavs at 1 game apiece, while the Rockets and Spurs go go at it out west. It is Kentucky Derby week. Classic Empire has been made the early favorite for the Derby, coming in at 4-1. And more information is now coming out about that contract that Nick Saban signed. Next year, he'll make $11.125 million, the most amount of money any college coach has ever made in a year is Coach K, who got 9.7 back in 2011.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello, I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, all 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the show. That will all be brought to you with limited commercial interruption thanks to our sponsor for the podcast, Carlton Dean and the folks at SVN. That's carltondean.com. Go make some money. Commercial real estate, income-producing properties, right there. Email the show if you want at JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app works well, both Android and iPhones, I should say. And ESPN Tallahassee is what you type into YouTube, and you can watch us perform the show if that's your cup of tea. Hey, so, you know, we talk about the next great face of baseball. We were saying there was a big article written by now let go Jason Stark. And how that's a problem for baseball, that they don't have a go-to star. And I was looking at the Player of the Month honors. You know, we just started May. Crazy that it's May 3rd already, but it is, and here we are. And you look back at the month of April. And so, and this is just a real quick aside because I'm interested in it. You have relievers of the month, and you have rookies of the month, and pitchers of the month, and player of the month. The player of the month was, once again, Mike Trout. What do you think Mike Trout did in the month of April? And we never get to see him. And we both know he's the best player in baseball. It's really not even close. and he's spectacular to watch. He'd be a lot of fun, right, if we could see him.
I feel like this is a trap question because maybe he had a down April.
No. He won. Okay. He won an honor of being Player of the Month.
Oh, okay.
That would really be a hell of a thing to give that to a guy out there hitting 120. But no,
here's the Lifetime Achievement Award, even though you've been putting out 10 years of crap.
No. He won the Player of the Month for the month of April. This is what he did. You got no guesses, and that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
364 is what he hit. Okay. 18 runs, 9 doubles, pair of triples, 7 dongs, 18 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. Just a average month of April for Mike Trout.
Steady kicking ass.
Dude.
In the dead of night.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it. I mean, obviously, if he was a player on the East Coast or on one of our teams, we'd be very excited on a nightly basis to sit down and watch a dude who month by month kind of goes, that's like a normal month for him. 364, 9 doubles, couple triples, 7 home runs, 18 RBIs, steals 5 bases, scores 18 runs, on base at an alarming rate. He's just a freak. Ryan Zimmerman, by the way, your favorite player.
His ops is insane.
Well, he hit 420 for the month with 22 runs, 8 doubles, 11 dongs, 29 RBIs. Oh, and he stole a base for good measure. That's insane. When you lap Mr. Trout, that's having yourself a month. Zimmerman hitting a cool 420. Feeling good about himself these days. Dallas Keuchel won the pitcher in the American League. Little did I know, again, I didn't realize. I knew he'd been good. I didn't realize he was 5-0 with a 1-2-1, 36 strikeouts and 44 innings pitched. Woo! Go ahead and do some things. You know who was over there in the National League?
Matt Harvey?
Ivan Nova.
Oh.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
He has more complete games than walks since joining you. Is that true?
Yeah, he's been dominant. He has an impressive 22.1 strikeout to walk ratio across 36 innings pitched in 5 starts. I had a 1.50 to go with. he's been dominant. Shutout you saw over the weekend, the Marlins complete game shutout.
Yes.
Yeah,
90 pitches or whatever it was.
Efficient, dominant. Yeah. It's funny. You get out of that bandbox in New York where pop-ups don't leave the yard incessantly. I mean, the Yankees' new stadium, which
although
is a joke.
Judge, I mean, it would hit him out of any park.
He'd hit him out of Yellowstone. But
that's
I'm saying,
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a big, strong man.
That's 12 home runs in the month of April for him.
It also is
no,
weird.
He 12 last night, number 11 and 12.
But I'll say this. I mean, I think what's interesting, I'd love to hear either Mike Martin Jr. or somebody who is a hitting instructor, and I've got some stats on Florida State baseball in a second that I'll give you that this will be relevant. I got to pull it up. But that said, if you think about this, he's 6'7", 270. And that's not Hubie Brown going nuts over LeBron James.
Now, LeBron James is 7'3", 320 pounds.
So Judge is legitimately 6'7", 270 or whatever. I think they say he's 270, 260, something like that. I'd like to know the mechanics of that swing. I mean, it's rare you see somebody who's like 6'5" in golf, 6'4", and become a pro. I mean, they may be adequate golfers. They could even be scratch or something. But
Ernie Els was a giant 25 years ago.
He's still, and he is a big dude.
He's a big guy.
Followed him on.
Legit.
He's legitimately a big dude. Yeah.
He's also pretty wide.
Yeah, he's just a big son of a bitch. But I'm saying, and he can swing it. But there aren't too many. Most of the times when you go to the golf course and you follow guys, you're like, not the bigger dude. Most of the guys are a lot smaller than you realize.
Tiger was jacked, but he wasn't
wasn't that tall.
Yeah.
No. He was a good-sized guy, but he wasn't, no. I mean, every now and then you'll walk up and you'll see somebody and you'll go, Henrik Stenson's a big dude. Like tall and thick, and, he's big, strong guy. But there aren't that many. Because I would think as the taller you get, it's just that much harder to sink. And you got a lot of moving parts, a lot of weirdness going on there with elbows and knees.
But the force times lever arm, though, if you can time it up at 6'4", 6'5",
obviously,
it's just unbelievable.
But we're talking about a 6'7" baseball player now with that stroke. And obviously, he's got the weight and the strength and the the weight shift distribution and all that going for him. But he got a quick bat, man. He gets to the ball away. I mean, he's doing a lot of things where you're kind of like, well. I mean, that's a special set of eye-hand coordination that you don't typically see. I mean, you see a guy that's 5'11",
sure,
like a little steamroller.
Well, it's like, watching Kevin Durant or LeBron take a three-pointer right at the line, and you think, good Lord, that's a 10-footer for most guards.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look like he's exerting much. And Judge can hit a fly ball for him, given his height and the velocity of the fastball.
And in that ballpark.
Sure. I mean, he's got no excuse, Jeff, not to hit 65 home runs this year.
There are Yankee fans everywhere getting ready to go to the game saying that exact same thing. So we have collectively, you and me, I think maybe to some degree out there, Florida State baseball fans have been complaining for some time now about the misuse of Mr. Carlton. And how it is that we are not putting him in the leverage situations that you'd like, and there had been talk about, well, they're going to change his role. They're going to change his role, and they understand he's being wasted out there in the bullpen, and now he may be sort of first man to come in a dicey situation. But that hasn't always happened either, and so you lose a series and you run some guys out there that don't get the job done, and then you have your guy out there pitching 3 innings in a game in which you trail by 5, and you're going, well, I would have preferred to have maybe started this game on even footing and not buried myself and hoped to come back, but rather stayed in it along the way, and perhaps Drew Carlton could have helped me do that.
Sure, maybe the 3 2/3 of scoreless could have begun the game.
Just something along those lines. Maybe garner a little bit of momentum early
in the 4th
in a big
inning.
game.
Maybe you're up 2-0 maybe in a rubber match.
Maybe
against
you are.
Virginia.
Maybe you put the pressure on a college kid on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. If you look at total runs for Florida State, and this is the hope in the postseason, albeit until some things change with the pitching, it is just a flicker of light at the end there. You can see it, but you're not banking on it lasting. Total runs per game, if you will. Only North Carolina has scored more runs than Florida State in the ACC.
Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
So only one team in the ACC, that team being North Carolina, has scored more runs than Florida State in ACC play. We are, Florida State that is, 11-12 in the conference, as you well know. We're tied for 10th in hits allowed, 9th in runs and earned runs allowed. So quite clearly, if you're looking for a reason this team struggles, they don't pitch awfully well. They don't pick it up awfully well. It's not the offense. They score better than anybody else in the conference today score, save for North Carolina. And they're right there with them, by the way. So when you recognize that and you say, well, we can damn sure score with anybody. We'll light you up. We'll be in a game if it's just the bats. How is it Drew Carlton's not at least getting a shot in the rotation here with your problems with your starting pitching?
Well, if only. I don't know what you're talking about, but if only there was an arm that they had in that staff somewhere. If they could just find the arm.
I'm not saying.
And plug him in on the weekend.
I'm not saying he's going to come in there and be, a dominant Houston Street-esque type of guy. But, we've seen him be good in big games. We know what his stuff looks like. We know he's a quality arm. We know he began the year in the rotation. They moved him because of what they perceived certainly was a deficiency at the back end, and they weren't wrong with that. But, that's a closer compared to a starter. If starting pitching is your problem, and it is, what are we doing?
What would you say?
You do here.
Yeah,
it's, damn it, man.
If your season's on the line, you got to have one guy roll out there and take the ball, start the game for you on this roster. Who is it? Is it Holton?
Yeah, I still think it's him.
Who's number 2 on that list? Is it Sands?
No.
Is it Parrish?
No.
Is it Carp?
No.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing here. We're saying no to him. We're saying no. Let's go with Sands and Parrish. Or how about Carp on a random Sunday?
I get other people have to start games. I understand that one of those guys is going to be in the rotation. That's fine. But you've got an addition to a rotation that improves your pitching. You've got it. It's there. You've seen it. You know who it is. It's identifiable. We've already, the evidence is there.
We could have Ben and Casa, closing games this year. It wouldn't matter.
Well, and I think they've actually been a little bit fortunate here over the course of the season. They have figured out some other guys in that bullpen that they can trust. There are a few guys out there that on a given day you feel okay about. And you know what? We'll worry about the back end when we get to in a position to win a game in the 9th inning. Sure, it's not ideal to have to go to that pen and you don't trust a dominant closer. We'd all like that guy. But, when you're down 6-1 in the 5th because your starter couldn't get out of the 3rd, well, what the hell?
Yes, exactly. Often over the last 10, 12 years, I've been watching the sport, and then especially when I started with you as an intern, I was on and off because college baseball has little quirks to it, about celebrating and all that kind of stuff.
I told you got to look at the game very differently.
It's a different sport altogether. But one thing that, you could watch and I could before I really embraced the game and understand was that although it's the college level, they're preparing guys here at Florida State to be pros, mm-hmm. and the program here is about pitching and defense and the approach at the plate. Those things all kind of translate, and that's the way the game is supposed to be played, through pitching, defense, and you got to have the smarts at the plate nowadays, especially in the era of sabermetrics and advanced numbers, that what we're teaching here is what you're going to learn at the next level. It's a professional approach. I look at the staff now in the last handful of seasons, and I say, this feels like a college-level program. It's a college-level staff because they haven't been great at running the bases for years. They haven't been able to pick up the baseball since, Devin Travis and Justin Gonzalez were around here. The approach is still there. And the pitching staff, although we like the philosophy more than we did, the previous philosophy was about nibbling. This one is about being more aggressive in the zone.
He's been a little bit more vindicated now.
What's going on?
Well, I'll just say this. The one thing you can depend on, and this is a credit to Meat, but yeah, you can depend on them offensively, at least in terms of the consistency from year to year, that they're going to have a correct approach and one that is productive. That's inarguable.
That's tied the eras. I was going to say Posey and Ryan and those guys when I was an undergrad and way before that, of course.
Yeah. But that's also one of those things where, because this is always one of those greatly debated subjects. This is a thing that Tallahassee loves to do, is debate Martin and the baseball program. But the inarguable part of that is, offensively speaking, those numbers are what they are. They're perennial top 20. So
once upon a time, not long ago, the biggest gripes were about bullpen management and, who's going to be your rotation, in what order. Do you want to start with this guy on a Friday? Is that really a Friday guy? I think your Friday guy is on Sunday. I mean, these are typical arguments that even Major League Baseball fans have. Usually the gripe with the manager
it's fun. That's the beauty of baseball,
why aren't you
right?
pinch hitting for this guy in this situation? Why don't you put him out there for outfield defense? Why isn't this the bullpen arm that you use in this situation? That's baseball in general. But now it's like, do these guys know how to run the bases? Can these guys get better at picking up the baseball? Why is it that our second best starter, at the very least, he might be our most consistent starter, is not starting baseball games for us? Why is Carp starting a game you have to have against Virginia?
Well, certainly a game that wins you a series. It could win you a series, and it would have been a nice feather in the cap to get it.
Well, you want to host a regional, you need that game.
Yeah, it would have helped, yeah. No, I don't have an answer for that. That's why I brought it up. That's why I brought up the stats just now, too. I mean, those numbers kind of bear it out. We can score with you. We won't. Now, listen, they're a flawed team, and starting him isn't going to erase all the blemishes.
No, he could give up 3 runs in 4 innings and get bounced.
He's not a completely dominant figure, but he's better and more consistent, we think, than what they're rolling out there, and that's the frustrating aspect. They are a team that's going to have problems, but a lot of college teams do, even the really good ones, and that's fine. Just put yourself in the best position to succeed. We talk about this all the time.
And that's the thing. He could be put, he could have been put out there on Sunday and started against Virginia, and he could have gotten lit up. But it's still the right
play, the right move. That's right. And that's all you can ask for, right, is to make the right move and say, hey, let the chips fall where they may. This is the right play. He didn't get it done, or he did, or whatever it might be. But, yeah, still holding out hope there. The oddity of all this, cynicism aside, it's still doable. They could still do it. I mean, what I'm saying is they could still make that decision and get on a roll and win games.
The 2009 football Seminoles were never going to luck into playing for a national title.
That's right.
That's right. They were incapable of coming and reaching those heights.
Right.
This team's ceiling is good enough.
It's good enough for the right draw on the play the right day and give yourself a chance. Yeah, I mean, that's it'll be interesting to see. This little stretch here are games that they're supposed to win, so you really can't get too excited about it. You need to take care of business, but you can't get too excited about it. You really won't get excited again until Wake Forest is here, and then before you go, when you go on the road against Louisville, and I'll be apprehensive then. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford. The place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $140 rebate by mail on 4 select tires when you use the Ford Service credit card at the Big Tire event. Subject to credit approval, rebate by prepaid debit card. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 6/30/17.
Welcome to Staples.
Staples guy, I just got to town and I need a presentation printed for a big meeting tomorrow.
Well, Staples has everything you need to print, scan, and fax.
Great. Oh, just got a text. The home office made changes to the presentation.
No problem. You can access your files from a USB, email, or the cloud.
And the meeting isn't tomorrow, now it's today.
Our machines are self-service, so there's no waiting.
And And it's not here. Now it's in Ebensburg.
I hear it's lovely this time of year.
Print, scan, fax, and copy at Staples. Your office away from home.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, this is Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. No one besides us wants to hear that you need a new roof. It's one of the biggest home improvements you have to make, and Parker Brothers Roofing understands. We now offer financing for 0% over 60 months. Yes, that's 5 years. Call us today for 5 years interest-free financing on that new roof. 656-8112. That's 656-8112, or go to parkerbrothersroofing.net.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a $1 million bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call, because we're going to let 1 million people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts, and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now, and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait.
800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. That's 800-489-1397.
Okay, so you're telling me that Beef O'Brady's has buy one, get one free deals? Free fish and chips!
Free boneless wing baskets!
Free chicken nachos! That's what I call an order. Buy one, get one free every Thursday in May at Beef's.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Don't know if you guys saw this. Welcome back, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. But the great, one of the all-time great sports columnists and broadcasters, for that matter, Frank Deford, is retiring and walking away from his role at NPR. I'm old enough to remember really, as a kid, reading Sports Illustrated and the work that Frank Deford did. For 37 years, he has now voiced over 1,600 commentaries in public broadcasting. This last one that you can find online, he said goodbye. And his quote is, "I have survived so long because I've been blessed with talented and gracious colleagues and with top brass who let me choose my topics every week and then allow me to express opinions that were not always popular. And perhaps just as important, I've been blessed with you, with a broad and intelligent audience, even if large portions thereof haven't necessarily given a hoot about sports." Born in Baltimore, he was educated at Princeton. Deford, as I recall him, more than anywhere else, spent the bulk of his expertise and career at Sports Illustrated. In 1989, he became the editor-in-chief of the National, which was the first daily U.S. sports newspaper. It only lasted, unfortunately, for a couple of years. He wrote for Newsweek and Vanity Fair, other publications, of course. He won a ton of awards, a very distinguished career. He's won 6 Sports Writer of the Year awards, for example. He's on HBO's Real Sports, as you know, Tom. You've seen him there for years.
That's where, yeah, I think people of my generation, if they recognize him at all, they'd recognize him from Real Sports.
And that is exactly why, in this, his final year doing this, I wanted to draw attention. You love sports writing. You love great writing. Most reasonably intelligent people certainly do. And because you weren't even born at the time that this was written, I would draw your attention to this, and anybody else who's young. Frank Deford, what may not be known necessarily about him is that he lost a child, and he wrote about it. And it is, on the surface, I can see you start to get nervous now because it's a devastating read. He wrote a book and an article, but one of them is called Alex, the Life of a Child. And he described the life and death of his daughter, Alex, who suffered from cystic fibrosis. And she lived just about 8 years. And so when you hear that, you think, well, that's probably the saddest thing I've ever heard, and I don't think I'm going to read that, Jeff. You should. The end is uplifting. And his conclusions and many of the things that he writes aren't so stark and depressing as the topic might lead you down to thinking, the path to thinking. It is an unbelievable piece. But even if you just read the article not long after all of that happened that he wrote in Sports Illustrated, the depths of that humanity and the ability to write about it while grieving the way that he did stuck with me at a very young age. To see a guy who I was accustomed to reading solely about sports, and you hear so often the refrain, stick to sports. But, of course, sports writers are people just like everybody else and have opinions on any number of things. But the ability to write about that and to branch out away from sports was something that I found fascinating and buoying as a kid, because I was getting into sports and writing and doing all of that and thinking, so the sports writers aren't just knuckleheads writing about RBIs and dunks, but rather nuanced points across the board, and you can be well-read, well-educated, and choose to go into sports.
If you can write, you can write.
You can write it. That's exactly right.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Because if you know, life is, full of experiences and things you learn and things you end up knowing. If you can write about what you saw, then you can write about what you know. It's just that easy, not to be returning back to Williams Hall over at Florida State.
Yes,
but yeah.
I was just about to say that.
Sorry.
It's an incredible book. It's an incredible read. There are several collections of his work. If you'd like to start there, if you're younger and you don't know Frank Deford from a hole in the wall, you can find his books on Amazon for $5.
It's just a great phrase.
You can find some of his old collections. Same with Halberstam and some of the other great sports writers of yesteryear that have either passed or retired. But he's one of the all-time greats. And so I thought maybe we should at least spend the time to acknowledge in a relatively short segment what he's done in his work and in his education and his collection of essays that you can find and where you can go to find it. But again, that book is called Alex, the Life of a Child. Woo! Not going to say you won't weep. You will. But there will be moments where your faith in humanity is intact too, is found and rediscovered, and plus just the joy of writing, man. A guy who can, I guess, convey joy, profound sadness, and everything in between in one paragraph. Very few can do that. He did it well.
I think the art of writing, especially for sports writers, is the person who can convey an idea like he did and like you're talking about, but when they're on deadline too, when they're the columnists of the old days for the papers and their deadline is within 30, 45 minutes if they're lucky after the game is over, if it's a primetime affair. And yet you can read the paper the next morning, pick it up, and feel like either you were there or they captured everything you felt when you were there, and you watched the game alongside of the writer.
This can be married to the larger conversation we've had over the past 2 Jeff Cameron shows, and what I think we're losing out on and what I think we're missing is obviously as local papers in smaller markets devolve to where they don't have the funds, the necessary investment in doing that kind of in-depth journalism. I'm not saying there aren't good writers here, and my friend Corey Clark does a great job, and obviously I respect what Ira and others do on the beat over the years. It's a money thing. It's that newspapers aren't what they once were, and there was a case where some of the best journalism was always the local journalism of the small markets. It wasn't just the New York Times or the Detroit Free Press. It wasn't that at all. It wasn't just the Washington Post or the Atlanta Journal-Constitution or the Miami Herald. It was the writers that understood the city, understood the community, had a civic responsibility, got it, wrote about it effectively, but also did the investigative work, and it was funded in a way that allowed them to dig deep and to do those kinds of stories. That comprehensive reporting is what we're now missing. And this isn't a soapbox. This is just an observation, a reality of where we're at.
Well, I think this is one of the fundamental issues for a sports network that's national and is run from on high in one place, one headquarters. And that's, in a warped way, we're kind of returning to that in a really warped way because people want to know about their teams, their players. People want very specialized coverage for the most part, the diehards. I have the MLB TV app. every once in a while I may check in on another game, but I'm watching the Mets. I want to be able to watch my team every night. And there was an era, a long, long time, where that wasn't possible. You got the game of the week, and so you'd watch those teams. And if you couldn't watch your hometown team or you liked a team in another market.
This made me think of Mel Allen's voice.
Yeah. You either have to find the radio feed if you were lucky enough, or you check the papers. You check the papers and the box scores. I mean, how did you follow the Pirates?
That's exactly
closely
what I
in
did.
the 80s.
That's what I did every morning.
And you savor the opportunity to see them on national television.
And there's no way to talk about this without sounding extremely old, but there is something completely lost in the way that we glean our information now. You were a smarter baseball fan because you checked box scores in a paper. Now, you may not have access to some of the amazing Mike Trout highlights and those kinds of things in 1982 that you have now. And so I don't want to go back necessarily. But the idea of marrying those two things, access to information, video highlights, other players in other markets for other teams in other countries and states and worldwide, right? All of that's fun. That's great. And it's really cool to be able to access all that stuff. But because it was a process that allowed you to get a feel. You read the game stories. You had to glean the information. There was no internet, so you took the time to actively listen, if you will. It's like music when I talk about albums as opposed to one-offs on iTunes. To listen to an album is to be fully engaged. You have to sit down with it to do it, right? And I'm not saying I didn't like the ability to travel or to hear a song instantaneously, but the way you engaged in listening to music at one time was very different than it is now, and there's something lost in the way that we do it currently, just as there is within journalism in the way we read and get our information about the games. You sitting at a coffee table, eating a biscuit in the morning or whatever the hell you had, perhaps a pastry, and reading through each of the summaries from the game allowed for you to have players' names and statistics etched into your mind, right, in a way that carried over. So that's how we all knew everybody's stats, the back of baseball cards, all that stuff.
Totally warped my mind because when you said biscuit, I was going to go into, that's a delicious biscuit. And then you drop Adazio.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, how do I get to Adazio? I'm already in this, what a biscuit.
I'm on a biscuit.
Hey, you having a pastry?
That was still... Anyhow, so Deford allowed me to go on that.
18-year-olds can't block. Oh, I almost said, yeah.
There's a good write-up on identifying offensive linemen in college that will translate to the NFL, and that the difficulties currently for scouts across the league are akin to that we've had regular discussions about with quarterbacks. The spread has adversely affected offensive linemen, and the way that you can determine whether or not they're going to be any good in the league is affected by the college offenses. So we talk about it all the time with receivers and especially quarterbacks, but we don't talk about an offensive lineman who now has to get into a 3-point stance in the NFL more often instead of a 2-point stance, and how many of them go to the league with all the requisite skills and size, but they have no knowledge of how to do it. And so you're looking at false steps and terrible leverage, and you got to decide on tape, well, can we fix that? Is he? I mean, it's kind of interesting. Sorry, we're really going on weird tirades here.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
There's no waiting.
And it's not here. Now it's in Ebensburg.
I hear it's lovely this time of year.
Print, scan, fax, and copy at Staples, your office away from home.
Excuse me, can I help you find something in the grocery store today?
Oh, yes, I'm looking for lemon.
Oh, well, lemons are in our produce section,
Oh,
so...
no, not lemons. Lemon. It's a new sparkling lemonade.
So lemon is a beverage?
With no artificial flavors and no artificial sweeteners.
Okay, let's check the beverage aisle.
And it only has 70 calories per can.
Oh, here it is. New lemon sparkling lemonade.
Now I'll just pour some in this glass.
That's amazing.
What, that we found the lemon sparkling lemonade?
No, that you thought to bring a glass of ice to the grocery store.
I'm like that.
Get the feeling of summertime all the time with new lemon sparkling lemonade.
New trends are in and the deals are on because this week at Goodies, it's all for mom. It's the Goodies Mother's Day sale. Hurry in for 30% off all the hottest trends like lace, embroidery, pastels, and our personal favorite, florals with a romantic twist. Score 30% off fashion accessories and handbags too. The Mother's Day sale is happening now. And remember, we have fresh deals every day with even more new looks arriving monthly. Goodies. What will new bring out in you? Goodies is part of our Sage family. Offer exclusions apply.
This is Mark, and he's a Scotts scientist. He's always working to make it easier for you to get a thick, lush lawn. Is your grass thin? Are dollarweed and clover creeping in? Mark's here to help with the #1 brand in the South, Scotts Turf Builder Bonus S Southern Weed and Feed. It has the right nutrients to green grass while killing weeds, all in one step. It's so easy, it'll save your time and strengthen your grass. This is a Scotts yard. Pick up Scotts Bonus S today.
Oscar Mayer's making big changes, and hot dogs will never be the same again. We went back to the drawing board and the cutting board until we had a line of the world's best hot dogs. We got rid of the artificial preservatives in all of our meat and waved goodbye to byproducts in every single hot dog for every single one of you. And right now, the Wienermobile is driving across America to put a hot dog in every hand. So hashtag for the love of hot dogs and tell us why you deserve a visit. Oscar Mayer for the love of hot dogs.
The weather's heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener, your Big Ben Makita Pro Center. Makita 18-volt X2 LXT for only $249. Zero emissions and reduced maintenance. No need for gas or oil. Same battery, 36-volt power. Also ask about your increased warranty on Makita concrete tools. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener, 2 locations, 1110 Stuckey Ave in Tallahassee or at 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Call them at 580-1200 in Tallahassee or 926-1144 in Crawfordville. Online at ctf.nu.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. Florida State baseball has the week off before a 4-game set with Pacific at Hauser over the weekend. 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. That leaves the spotlight on tonight's softball game between Florida and Florida State. It's #1 against #2. First pitch set for 7 o'clock. NBA last night, Boston is now up 2-0 against Washington, while the Warriors take out Utah in Game 1 of their series. Tonight, Toronto looks to even up the series with the Cavs at 1 game apiece, while the Rockets and Spurs go at it out west. It is Kentucky Derby week. Classic Empire has been made the early favorite for the Derby, coming in at 4-1. And more information is now coming out about that contract that Nick Saban signed. Next year, he'll make $11.125 million, the most amount of money any college coach has ever made in a year, is Coach K, who got $9.7 back in 2011.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I was linked in a cool thing, warchant.com charity golf tournament auction prize. And one of the auction prizes is a celebrity turkey hunt with Coach Fisher, and all proceeds go to benefit the Kids First Fund. And anyhow, it's going to take place in May, and it's southern Georgia, and you're out there hunting turkey. And so people bid on this, and I guess last year's winner had a great time with Coach Fisher, and all of the money is raised again for the Kids First Fund. So it's a great thing. But I didn't realize that I had been linked in this thing. And so all of the people that were responding, like Kids First Fund, and then just people who obviously see the good that comes out of this with the money raised, we're all responding to it. And it's one of those things when you're linked into a thing and you don't, and then you're like, why is there 19 things on that I haven't checked or whatever? So I did.
You check your phone and there's a laundry list of stuff.
Right. So what I was weirded out by was that it was, you know me, and for those that have been listening for a long time, then you also know that I don't hunt. It's not my thing. I'm not saying it shouldn't be yours, but I am saying I don't do it. So I was all this stuff on here about hunting turkey. I was like, why would I be linked with all this crazy turkey shooting? I don't own a gun. I don't want to, and I don't shoot things. So why am I on this link? This is bizarre. But then I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay, good. But I will say this. I don't know why, I think, but if somebody said, Jeff, you've got to hunt something, we're gonna make you hunt. There's gonna be you're doing it this weekend. I think it'd be turkey.
So turkey would be the first to go.
I think if you said I had to do it, that it would be turkey, because you can't hunt chicken. And I don't think people hunt chickens. That'd be a hell of a thing. You just step onto somebody's porch. I got that one.
It's a hell of a shot.
Great job, Larry. No, but turkey, I think it would be, because every time it comes up, I think, maybe I could shoot a turkey. Like my whole thing is the kind of the courage of your convictions type stuff.
Sure.
Like I've gotten to where, for the most part, I don't eat things that I can't kill myself, that I wouldn't kill myself. Wouldn't is the key thing. I don't kill anything, but you know what I mean? If I go fishing, I can catch a fish and kill it. It doesn't bother me. I can do that, and therefore I eat fish, right? It's not, couldn't kill a cow. Wouldn't kill a cow. Don't want to. Don't see it, so I don't eat it. I'm not telling you guys not to. I'm not being judgmental. I'm saying that's just for me. That's
preach, man. Preach to the people.
I'm just
Tell
saying
them about your mission.
No, that's just my deal. But when the turkey comes
They call you free-range Cameron.
That's right. But when the turkey stuff comes up, I go, I probably could shoot a turkey. Probably could. Like, I try to think about the things that if you said, there he is, take him out, can I pull the trigger? I think,
Were you capable of actually doing it? Yeah, you say, yes, sir.
I think I could raise it and do it.
I think you'd be a great person to bring on a turkey hunt, because you could call to the turkeys and they'd respond to you.
They have actual devices. They have the little.
You don't need it.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Before those devices were ever created.
That'd be me out there yelling for the turkey, yeah.
Take Cameron with you.
You just want the Virginia Tech fans.
He's a whisperer.
Yeah. They come a-running. Those gobblers. No, but it reminds me of watching the documentary by Errol Morris, Vernon, Florida. If you've never seen the documentary Vernon, which Vernon's right up the road, see the documentary Vernon. It is fantastic in every way you can imagine a documentary about Vernon, Florida would be. But there's this one guy in the documentary who really loves to turkey hunt in a way that's unhealthy, in a very childlike, he can't wait to kill him.
Childlike, okay.
Yeah, he can't wait. No, not that kind of hunting.
Okay.
That would be a weird documentary. No, it is, this guy likes to hunt turkeys, and it's what
is it time for another hunt?
Woke up feeling good about a turkey hunt. Kyle.
Every morning's a Saturday morning when you're turkey hunting.
Yeah, no. A real turkey hunt. He likes to do that.
It's disturbing.
I think more than anything else in this world, he likes to do that. Could you shoot a turkey?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Maybe I'm being boastful because I don't have to. I don't know.
I got to tell you something about a filter that just kicked in when I was about to respond to what you said, and I can't. There's no way.
Something hit you.
But yeah, during this break, I gotta.
Well, that break may be coming sooner than we had anticipated, if only because this went down a weird path. I'm happy that this person has paid whatever they paid, hopefully a ton of money, to go on this turkey hunt. And
Or is
obviously,
that still ongoing? Is that bid? Because there are subsequent auction things that War Chant Corner Pocket put together.
Is that right?
So that could be. Retweet it. Get some people to jack up the price.
Well, that's perhaps why I was included in the original, and I have just ignored the reason that I was included and rather thought about myself and how I could or could not shoot a turkey. They're like, a little retweet help. Can we get a little retweet help? I'm just sitting there going, could I shoot a
Coach,
turkey?
what is wrong with our special teams? Ignore the turkey for a minute.
Yeah. No, I guess, no, I don't. I guess when it really comes down to it, maybe I couldn't shoot a turkey. I always think, well, man, that turkey's just out there chilling, loving its life. Never did anything to me.
I think you'd be like our guy from Boardwalk in Harlem.
Oh, my hand would start to shake. Well, when he couldn't put down the dog.
Well, no, not that. Oh, that too.
But that's when it started.
Yeah, that's when
when you realized he lost the heart to do it because of the freaking war, man. Old Half-Face was done. What was his name? Marlo?
I think it was Harlow.
Harlow. He was awesome. He was the best part of the show
Harlow
towards
and
the
Harlem.
end. That actually was the saddest damn plot line at the end there. Got to pull the trigger, brother.
Yeah.
Ends up on the train.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
All day, including 2-for-1 wells. There's Tuesday night trivia with Professor Jimmy where you can win money. What other night should we stop by the fourth quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the fourth quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
This morning you're up early because you're at the DMV. So many people, it takes so much time. Do you have the right form? Are you in the right line? Your number E42, right after C23. This is confusing. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
When you've had a morning, let us make you breakfast, like Taco Bell's Breakfast Crunch Wrap. A whole breakfast wrapped up and grilled to eat on the go. At participating stores for a limited time during breakfast hours.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a 1,000,000 bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call, because we're going to let 1,000,000 people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts, and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now, and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait.
800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. That's 800-489-1397.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Gunslingers walked out in the street and one said,
I don't want to fight no more. You know how at the end of the ACC campaign, we talked about the end of the football season is another way of saying that makes more sense. We said that what a banner year it was for the ACC, and that was true. It was arguably the best conference in the country last year in football, and that's frankly a first. And so we brought that up and talked about, my God, what has happened to the SEC. And, of course, all of that culminated with another championship for the ACC. And so I said to you at that time, man, the sad part of all of this is that it's going to be a one-year blip on the radar. And you know me. Me and Swafford will wear the cap together, arm in arm.
You and Swaffy?
Celebrating the ACC and carrying the flag of greatness that is the conference. But I said, look at all of the quarterbacks, which is what made the league special, that are leaving, and this is going to be a league that is dominated by defense, and the offense is going to look very much like the SEC, which is garbage offensively. And so there's where we're at. And it's funny, I'm not suggesting she stole it or anything like that, but there's an article about that very thing today from Edelson. That's back-to-back days. Good job, Andrew. Where the story is
something we talked about previously.
Get ready for these.
I hear it in your voice.
Stop it. Get ready for the year of the defense in the ACC. And so I would tell you, Tom, that's going to happen because you've got dominant players across the board, and it's going to be interesting to see how we respond to watching a product that is, a little bit less filled with firepower. Let's put it that way. The game's going to be a little bit more reminiscent of last year's SEC brand of football, which we tirelessly made fun of. So Are we going to be able to do that? Are we going to be fair? Keep us honest as we go into this next year when we watch 17-14. Don't have me come in here and tell everybody what a thrilling defensive battle that was.
The ghosts of Frank Beamer. Here they come.
He's like,
fists raised.
0-0. I don't think it'll be that bad. That was just incompetence. That was just a pitiful brand of football. I do think that this will be a combination of very, very, very talented defensive football players across the board in this league, starting with Derwin James, and a whole lot of breaking in of new quarterbacks that aren't the caliber of a number of guys that we saw, whether that be at Pitt or North Carolina or Clemson.
Can hear it now. You saying, well, this is the best defensive league in college football, Tom.
Yeah. Well, it may very well be, Tom. It may be.
And there it is.
And there and it's begun. Hour number 3, forthcoming.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Cadillac, continuing to help support high school athletics throughout the Big Bend. Visit them on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Miccosukee, or by visiting them online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. BuickGMC-Cadillac.com. From the folks at Dale Jr. and us right here at 97.9 ESPN Radio, congratulations to this year's winners, Leon's Anna K. Ford and Rickard's Taven Jackson.
Tallahassee's unquestioned sports authority.
Who do you think you are? I am.
97.9 ESPN Radio.
Shot site, rebound, score!
The playoffs are here. The Corner Pocket is your home all spring long for all the heart-pounding moments in the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's held in a shot, safe, rebound.
The Corner Pocket on Appalachia Parkway next to Earth Fair is your headquarters for FSU and Major League Baseball. Trivia Tuesdays, beer bingo Thursdays, and of course, all the moments you'll never forget.
For the championship!
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay with Miller's Tree Service. When you need work done in your yard, you want a professional, someone you can trust to provide high-quality service and get the job done right. We've got 3 certified arborists and 6 work crews that can meet all your tree care needs. Hire the professionals at Miller's Tree Service, where we'll go out on a limb for you.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
The weather's heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, your Big Bend Makita Pro Center. Makita 18-volt X2 LXT for only $249. 0 emissions and reduced maintenance. No need for gas or oil. Same battery, 36-volt power. Also ask about your increased warranty on Makita concrete tools. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 2 locations, 1110 Stuckey Ave in Tallahassee or at 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Call them at 580-1200 in Tallahassee or 926-1144 in Crawfordville. Online at ctf.nu.
Okay, so you're telling me that Beef O'Brady's has buy one, get one free deals? Free fish and chips!
Free boneless wing baskets! Free chicken nachos!
That's what I call an order. Buy one, get one free every Thursday in May at Beef's.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. Florida State baseball has the week off before a 4-game set with Pacific at Hauser over the weekend. One on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. That leaves the spotlight on tonight's softball game between Florida and Florida State. It's number 1 against number 2. First pitch set for 7 o'clock. NBA last night, Boston is now up 2-0 against Washington, while the Warriors take out Utah in game 1 of their series. Tonight, Toronto looks to even up the series with the Cavs at 1 game apiece, while the Rockets and Spurs go at it out west. It is Kentucky Derby week. Classic Empire has been made the early favorite for the Derby, coming in at 4-1. And more information is now coming out about that contract that Nick Saban signed. Next year, he'll make $11.125 million, the most amount of money any college coach has ever made in a year, is Coach K, who got $9.7 back in 2011.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom, and a fine Ballswick Wednesday to you and yours. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you get to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but if you do, remember this. All 3 hours posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the program, and it's done so with limited commercial interruption thanks to our great podcast sponsor, CarltonDean.com. You can email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. Don't forget the WTSM app for your mobile devices. And if you want to watch us perform the show, you can. Sometimes I'm tilted sideways. Our camera is good, but not great. It's kind of our situation. That's where we're at right now. We're hoping to be great someday. That camera needs to put in the hours in the gym, and maybe it'll be sturdy enough to stand upright the entirety of a show.
You have personified the camera that brings your personality to YouTube.
That's right. It's not working hard enough on its core because it does this little side flippity-do.
Needs to go see Bill Fredericks.
It does. Space Physical Therapy.
Frequency XP.
Bam. Get you some crunches in, camera. Might be able to stand upright for 3 hours. Keep it together. People want to see me squared. JCS at ESPNradio.com, the email address, and there you go. Hey, I know this is just whatever, but I was looking at the video shots of it just before we came back on the air here. The Sears Tower was finished on this day in 1973, and they were showing how engineers built it, and it withstands even the windiest of cities. So you get to see what happened there, Chicago, Windy City. But have you ever been up top that?
No, I haven't been to Chicago.
Okay, so I've ridiculed you for that over the years, and this is another opportunity. But what I would tell you is that the windows at the very top, they have it set up so they kind of jut out. And so you walk out like you're walking on air if you want, and you look down there and your feet, it's clear. And you just realize if that pane of glass goes, it's your ass. And I'm afraid of heights to some extent. I'm not afraid to be on a plane. I travel anywhere, it doesn't bother me, that. But like standing on rooftops or even climbing ladders, I'm a two-story.
Depends on the ladder, how rickety it is.
Yeah, I'll get up on my roof to make sure the gutters are clean. But that's about it.
The house I had growing up, we put up all the Christmas lights, and that's like the national Dad's Mad more today than any other day or the entire year. But it's a big to-do, and the hedges out front attached to the wall of the front of the home were considerable. And so he had to get a 10-foot ladder, but it was from 1942. I mean, it was
got to have the newest of the new when it comes to ladders,
man. He'd angle it, and just before we moved out of that house, I was old enough to hang some of the lights. You talk about taking your life in your own hands. I mean, that thing made noises between steps, not just when you took steps.
And I can be up in a tree. I used to climb trees as a kid. I fell out of a tree, and my brother laughed at me, and I hit every damn branch on the way down. Just bam, bam, bam. Oh, was it awful? Tumble.
Brutal.
Terrible. Laid there, motionless when I hit the bottom, which was this giant protruding root just right in my ribs. I thought I was I thought I was done for, and he's laughing at the top of the tree. That's brotherly love for you. But
is that the worst injury you suffered as a kid? As a little one.
Yeah, as a younger kid, probably so. I talked about the BB guns. I got shot with BB guns all the time.
The number one I saw was my buddy Tony Howard. We were playing soccer, pickup soccer, and he was going on a break, but he didn't see the pull-up bars.
Oh!
And one of the pull-up bars was forehead height.
And bam!
And he was clothesline.
Clothesline.
It was a clothesline from hell.
Call it a day. I ran into a tree while somebody shot a bottle rocket at me.
Face first.
Yeah, I was turned around and somebody aimed a bottle rocket at me. You talk about terribly unsafe. The youth in my day did all kinds of things that were just absolutely, like, people would see that now and go, what in the? But we were in the front yard and somebody was shooting a bottle rocket at me, and they had lit it and they were aiming it and waiting for it to go, and I just kind of turned real quick, forgetting that I was a step away from a tree, and just bang!
I took there were, the merry-go-rounds, the ones at the playgrounds, not, the trumped up
Everybody's
ones
probably been, yeah, we've all kind of flown
okay,
off
but
of
this
those,
one
yeah.
had pegs on it that could help, somebody push it, like a parent push them.
Right.
And they were at the top and bottom of the hour, if you will, the
I got
180 mark and the 360 mark.
Yep.
And I didn't realize that they were there. So I jumped off of the merry-go-round, and I took it right to the stomach, the peg, and it was going pretty freaking fast.
That felt good.
Oh, it's akin to being kicked in the boys later on in life. Yeah.
I flew off of a swing set, trying to see how high I could go up.
Oh, on the way forward?
Yeah.
Did you land on a tailbone?
No, landed on my feet, but I hurt both of my feet.
Oh, so you flung out of it?
I flung out of
Okay.
it, yeah. Went flying out of that. That wasn't real good. I'm wondering, as we bring it back to sports for a second, since I bitched earlier in the show, if you missed it, we were complaining about Drew Carlton not being in the rotation after all the overwhelming evidence that he probably should be, and that we're moving towards now a weird stretch because I'm anxious for the postseason to start. I want to see how they play. I find this team curious because, as I said, and I'll reiterate here for the purposes of this discussion, the statistics are weird for this baseball team, and they read like this. Florida State, in total runs and runs per game, best in the conference, save for North Carolina. So Florida State has scored more runs, total runs, and runs per game than anybody else besides North Carolina in the ACC, in ACC play, I should say. And yet we're obviously 11 and 12, and then tied for 10th in hits allowed, 9th in runs and earned runs allowed. So we quite easily can identify the problem. So now what I'm curious about as you go into these games against Pacific, we've talked about the need to move Drew Carlton out of a glorified kind of weird closer's role that is more of a setup/closer role.
That we don't really use all that often.
I don't know what he is. He's just a guy wasting away in a bullpen, and that's why we're having the conversation about him not wasting away in the bullpen and, in fact, starting in the rotation where he deserves to be. But Pacific is the next 4 games, and then it's Jacksonville, and then finally you get back into ACC play with Wake Forest and Louisville.
Big series, that first one especially.
Yeah, it's huge. So I'm kind of curious about so would you do that now against Pacific?
You're playing 4, What is it, a double on Saturday? Is that right?
No, you play, it's a doubleheader on Saturday. Yeah, you got a 2-6 on Saturday.
I mean, damn. If he doesn't this weekend,
yeah, when would he do it? Right.
I know you're not playing anybody, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah,
it's time.
Too, yeah.
It's time to launch the transition. This has to be the bridge weekend to him starting one of the 3 games against Wake Forest.
I say all this because May begins the ACC tournament. Obviously, we get into regional play at the start of June. If you're still playing by the time you get to the NCAA championships, obviously you're talking about the weekend of my birthday, as everybody knows. June the 11th, 9 through the 11th there. And then people go, Cameron's birthday. That's right. That's every year. And then the College World Series is
happens around the same time every year.
Yeah, Cameron's birthday is right then when the College World Series is getting underway. I always remember the College World Series because of Cameron's birthday. I do. So, yeah, I'm just thinking that It's not the other way around, Tom.
Well, I haven't heard that guy, that fan of ours since the SEC Network was first launched.
Oh, he's busy bitching about Martin somewhere. He's in a store somewhere.
Or Darinoka.
Yeah. I just don't know. How come Darinoka wasn't fired with all the others that ESPN let go just a week ago? I'll tell you why. You don't want to hear it, but it's the truth.
They let go with Jason Stark.
Mm-hmm. Bet they didn't let go of, well, I just can't talk about this.
There you go. I feel like Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All righty.
Lovely.
Yeah. Did you watch the basketball last night? Did you watch when I mentioned it last hour? Were you watching that Celtics win, that comeback, the not only the incredible fourth quarter, but then the overtime and Isaiah Thomas, who's 5'9", kicking ass in ways that 5'9" people ought not be able to?
Much like the first hour, I was honest about softball.
You
I'll be
weren't
honest
watching
about
last
this.
night. It was incredible. I should have texted you.
You should have. Well, it's getting to a point where you got to watch this guy,
Well,
even though you know what the East is going to be.
And it's such a cool story. And most of the time, I don't. Okay, so one of the reasons that I am watching this is because, and this is just grudge watching in a way, I want the guys who embrace debate to come on and have to say, I wouldn't see it if they did it, but they tweeted about it and wrote about it too. I want them to have to come out and say sorry about all that over-the-top nonsense we were talking when they lost the first game to Chicago in the first round. They lost the first two, actually. But, I mean, you'd have thought that team was the worst to ever garner a 1 seed in the history of the NBA, and it was an affront to who they were as people. And now all they've done is rattle off 6 straight, and this guy's the story of the NBA, who everybody can root for. There are some stories that even though we as they say, we live in a cynical world. It's true. And we're all jaded to some extent, and you get beat over the head with the good and the bad. So you're just worn out at all times by the media or the omnipresence of the media, right? You can choose to tune it out. You can choose not to check your phone every 5 seconds. You can choose not to be on the internet every second of every free time that you have. But the point is, if you do go there and you are doing that, then you are getting beat over the head with whatever negative or positive story. And sometimes, sadly, that affects us even when the story doesn't have another shoe to drop. There isn't another angle to the story. The story is Isaiah Thomas's sister died tragically in a car accident. She's dead. And he's quite clearly fighting through the devastation that all of us would feel if we lost our sibling, somebody that we've loved our whole life. And I can't fathom suiting up and playing basketball, let alone dropping 52 on somebody and carrying my team from a 2-0 deficit to coming back and winning a series and then winning the first 2 games in the way that they have and being virtually unstoppable. A guy who's averaging 29 points per game in the regular season is going out on a nightly basis now and wrecking defenses who know that he's the guy they got to stop. Ain't nobody else on Boston that you have to worry about. It's him and him alone. Well, that's not completely true, but it's close. And it's really, really cool. And it's nothing to fall back and be jaded about. It's something to champion. It's something to root for. It's something to be happy about. We're looking for the reason not to be happy. I hear people, oh, God, if I hear another, stop it. That's amazing. On her birthday, he goes out and does that. Also, kudos to Brad Stevens, who tweaked his lineup and changed the way that they're playing the game now. They look more like Houston than they do anybody else with the kind of offense they're generating. Oh, okay. It's crazy. That's coaching, buddy.
Yeah. Well, and what you got instead of all that, what you just said 2 weeks ago was the Boston Celtics are a disgrace as a 1 seed, Max.
Right. There it is.
There it is. Yeah. You don't even have to tune in anymore. That's exactly what it is for 2 hours.
Well, and
I
that's what I'm
watched
saying.
Houston and San Antonio the other night. Okay, I thought in that first round
so
series.
You're going to end up being right. And let me tell you something here. Let me do this. Let me do this real quick because I want to give you some credit. But it's also, I was counting. And I'm going to give you lots of credit. You waited for me to bring up the NBA a second time. Not a subject that we always get into, even when maybe
this time
we
of year for a good month.
Yeah, we do for a little bit, yeah. And to talk about at length this Isaiah Thomas story, and you remained patient before easing us over into the Houston story that 2 weeks ago you pronounced would be the story, that Houston had a little something for everybody in the Western Conference. And let's not be so quick to assume that's going to be Golden State or anybody else for that matter. You thought, well, what for coming out of Houston? And so I kept waiting in my head, especially after that performance, where San Antonio looked powerless. And Houston's fun to watch. And all the credit in the world goes to Mike D'Antoni and all those other. But I said, I wonder how soon Tom's going to note.
Now, hang on, though.
That Houston, no, that's not a poor quality. I would have done so decidedly sooner.
Well, but you said the word Houston. They look more like
that's
Houston.
What I'm saying.
You weren't talking about Drew Carlton's usage as a starter.
Right.
I said, you know what the Rockets are doing?
No. I'm saying I'm giving you credit. I would have found a way to work it in if you had brought up the color of the sky. I would have somehow found a way to say, Tom, I was just thinking about the color of the sky, and it reminded me of my pie in the sky prediction that Houston was going to perhaps be the surprise team of the Western Conference. We both are adept at doing this sort of thing, and you didn't do it.
Well, my brother, you well know my name's not on the show, so wherever you want to go is where we're going.
I understand
However, but this is a natural segue since you brought up Houston.
Yes.
I've been watching a lot of the Spurs, and they played Memphis, obviously, in the first round, and that series got more interesting than most thought it was going to get. And I thought, okay, maybe it's because Memphis, while having a middling regular season,
it's a matchup.
It's a matchup. They got a couple more stars.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, because Conley's a really good player that's not talked about, and Gasol goes crazy.
And their coach went to war, and that was cool.
Correct. Yeah, and that was a great storyline.
Yeah.
But honestly, now, and Game 2's tonight, watch Pop do what he does, which is make an adjustment, and everything is A-OK.
San Antonio. You say, oh, okay, so that's how we're playing it.
But there was something lacking in the way they played team defense in that first series. And I thought,
no question.
Okay. And then, it's about Kawhi Leonard and not much else. I mean, Aldridge was supposed to be the guy that replaced Tim Duncan seamlessly. And LaMarcus Aldridge has not been the key cog that keeps everything going. He's been spotty. So then flash forward to this series when I'm thinking, all right, Memphis is better than I thought. I watched the first game the other night, only through the first half. It's 30 points at the break. I mean, it's a 30-point spread at the break.
Yeah.
I say to myself, maybe I had it wrong. Maybe San Antonio is just not as good. Maybe San Antonio is a little thin. Watch Pop do what he does tonight, and that could easily happen.
Well, you never count him out. By the way,
they don't have much more than Kawhi to score, and they don't play defense all that well. Their rotations are not so hot.
They'll adjust. There's only so much adjusting you're going to do to hold down a very offensively gifted team in Houston. Plus, stylistically, they're going to get a lot of shots. But what I would say to you that I think is interesting about this is that, okay, so we don't know. This could be the beginning of the end for San Antonio. And if it is, the question then becomes something I do think is fun to talk about. A lot of these contrived the idea of a triumvirate, right? Let's talk about this three versus that three. You find these teams that have these super teams where guys collude to get together in the offseason on the golf course and all that. And we've seen how that's happened. That rules the NBA now. So if you can put together a pocket three, you can get a team that you say, oh, you know what? Our three can compete against their three. Does Chris Paul with Aldridge, with Kawhi Leonard in San Antonio? Tell me that doesn't add some kick-ass intrigue to the West next year.
Sure.
If it were to happen.
Sure, it absolutely would.
It's fantastic.
Well, what's interesting is for flashes, Tony Parker looks like he did 5 years ago.
Very short
flashes. But he doesn't finish at the rim like he used to.
No, and I'm
not talking about cramming. I'm just saying he doesn't finish, but he still will show the blazing speed and control all at once, but it's just not the same. And obviously Ginobili's still playing, which is, I don't know how that's possible. I mean, Patty Mills is your second most reliable scorer.
I'm just saying it would be interesting, wouldn't it, if you ended up with some combination with Chris Paul going to San Antonio?
Yeah.
Or what about Blake Griffin?
Oh, I don't think the door is closed. They're so well coached, and they could, I suppose, win this series. But in watching that looks sustainable because Harden goes crazy for the first 5-6 minutes of the game, but he only finishes with 20. He dialed it back.
Yeah.
They kept going as a team.
It just became an avalanche, and we see that sometimes. And we see, I go all the way back. I could tell you that I think it's 85, the Celtics beat the Lakers by like 40-something points the first game, and the Celtics lose the series. I mean, it happens.
Oh, and
you
remember
see this,
the first of the two finals with Miami and San Antonio. It was blowout, alternating all the way until it got close games 6 and I think it went 7. But that was obviously the Ray Allen series where he hits the corner 3. But it was every game there was an adjustment made, and we joked about how
cool.
Spoelstra and Popovich would kind of tip each other.
The cap as they walk off the
as
court.
They walked off the court.
Well done, you got me. I got something for you.
Looking up and down that San Antonio roster,
It
I don't
didn't
know
seem
what
like
they
there
got
was
for
going to be a
Houston.
lot. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Bloody Mary's, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the fourth quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Are you wanting to raise some extra cash fast? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need to clean out that garage full of stuff you never use? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need a newer car or truck and don't want to break the bank? Think Thrifty Nickel. Buying or selling, your best bet is Thrifty Nickel. All ads appear in print and online for maximum results. Place your ad today and ask for their guaranteed results special. Call 385-0505. Get your free copy of American Classifieds, available at hundreds of locations throughout the greater Tallahassee area.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a $1 million bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call, because we're going to let 1 million people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts, and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now, and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait.
800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. That's 800-489-1397.
The Furniture Bank of Tallahassee, a division of ECHO, is the only local program that collects and distributes gently used furniture free of charge to Leon County residents in need. Our free furniture bank donates to eligible clients such as families recovering from fire or disaster, formerly homeless clients moving into their own homes, and veterans in a rehousing program. In 2016, we helped 138 families, including 33 vets, rebuild their lives. For more information or to have your furniture picked up, call 224-ECHO. Call 224-ECHO.
The all-new WTSM app. Download for iPhone or Android today.
time.
The all-new WTSM app. Download for iPhone or Android today.
One more time.
The all-new WTSM app. Download for iPhone or Android today.
One more time. No, God, please, no, no, no.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I'm looking at what I would have spent the money on. Oh, by the way, the ACC average annual previous deal, $155 million. Value of the new deal, $240 million. Change, $85 million. So they say for the ACC network. ESPN rights payments through the roof, $39 billion for Major League Baseball, the NFL, college football, and the NBA. And then you throw in the mix, for example, MLS. By the way, MLS, would you have paid $75 million for MLS? Go to hell.
Annually?
Average annual value.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's not what we're doing here. I'm going to advise against that in that meeting. Guys, we're going to have to be a little bit more conservative in what we invest in moving forward. I agree with the investments in college and pro football for sure. Obviously, we paid a pretty penny to bring the NBA to the masses, so we're going to have to keep on keeping on there, but something's going to have to suffer. Why don't we start with the MLS? Good call, Jeff. That's why we have you around. MLS. Inferior, sorry-ass product.
Just wonder if at some point ESPN looks at some of the ratings that the NBA games get during the week and say to themselves, is there an opt-out? Can we just maybe we'll be a niche network for live sports for certain nights of the week?
Their research, from what I can tell, suggests that the NBA is their future because it's a popular sport with millennials. And that's the end of the discussion.
I don't know how much millennials are going to watch, Minnesota and Golden State on a random Wednesday night at 10 o'clock.
Golden State they would, but yeah, no, you're right.
But I mean, it's in January. Are you really that interested in watching,
Yeah, they got a
even though
problem.
those are two good rosters, but come on, the ratings for that game.
They got a problem there. It's a problem for the league. It's not just ESPN, obviously, who paid so much money for the league and promotes it in a way that's nauseating. But I would tell you that they believe in the NBA. All the research says that because it skews really young, that's where they're gonna sink their money. That's why they went away from MLB, which does not skew young.
I just think what's crazy about it is if you could make that much money off of these products, if you could already make that much money off of these products, you know what the leagues would have done? They would have created their own networks and that just kept all the rights and said, okay, if you want this game, it's on NFL 1. If you want this game, it's on NFL 2 or NFL 3. Direct to the consumer, and you don't need anybody. You don't need ESPN. You don't need Monday Night Football. If the NBA believed that it was worth that much money or more to themselves as an entity, as ESPN is paying for the rights to it, along with Turner Sports,
sure,
they'd say, we'll just keep it all in-house because then we keep all the money ourselves.
Yeah.
Just from a very basic standpoint.
I wonder if that'll end up happening, if
It's
that's
not
what
worth
you're going to
what
get,
you're
because MLB does it. NFL obviously has a network, but it would be interesting to see if that. Do you ever flip up there to that NBA channel, the one that's the league has?
NBA TV?
It's garbage.
I'd say out of I call it the big four, but yeah, NBA TV is the one I least tune into. It's MLB Network, then NFL, and the NHL doesn't really have the strongest people on the panel, but I do like that it's devoted to hockey, and I'm a niche fan. NBA TV is tough, though.
So you may think you've got a bad job, and it's not like I don't realize that I have an awesome job and that I'm filled with gratitude. I am. I think you are. I think we all are, that those of us who work in sports and always wanted to and do. I don't overlook that. But this isn't a serious segment. I'm just noting that most people feel like, their job kind of sucks. But if you want proof that you don't have the worst job, take a listen to this beauty. Facebook said it will hire 3,000 more staffers to review content in an attempt to curb violent or sensitive videos on its site without scaling back its live streaming tools. The planned hires, according to Mark Zuckerberg, are in response to Facebook posting of such violent videos as one last month showing a Cleveland man fatally shooting another man, and a week later, a man in Thailand who killed his baby and himself in live video. So the proposed fix now is to hire a roster of 4,500 reviewers by two-thirds over the next year in order to address how long it takes Facebook to remove graphic content. So as opposed to preventing its site from being used to display such content, the Cleveland video was up for roughly 2 hours. That video from the guy in Thailand, abhorrent as it is, was up for over 24 hours before it was taken down. And this isn't the first time. This is becoming a problem, right? So Facebook rushed out its live streaming tool, Facebook Live, to users just this past year. And Zuckerberg touted the format as raw and visceral. Indeed. But the company was not prepared for the extent to which crimes, including murder and other most unfortunate events such as suicides, would be filmed by people using Facebook live video, capturing the public's attention and being spread throughout the land, if you will. So 4,500 people, to go back and talk about why your job doesn't suck too bad. They're hiring 4,500 people to go onto the internet every day, Facebook specifically, and try to find murders and suicides to remove from Facebook Live. That's what you do. How's that for a living? That's what you do. You're scouring Facebook, which in and of itself might lead one to be suicidal. You're scouring Facebook, which... while you do that, you're looking for murder, suicide.
I think I'd rather pick gum off the bottom of seats in the movie theater.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you think? Yes. That is worlds better. I can't think of a job that I'd like less, perhaps. Working at a slaughterhouse is high on the list of things I wouldn't do. But this one here, buddy.
We'll be able to sleep.
This may be the one. This is the topper. Speaking of not being able to sleep, you can't unsee certain things. I mean, my man, that's what you do. You look for death, destruction, murder, suicide. It's your job. You've been specifically hired, brought in by Zuckerberg to be the guy that just sits around watching for murder, suicide.
Mark, I need a vacation.
Every other day.
I'm tweaked out on coffee, and I've watched 29 people kill 57 others.
I mean, it's just nuts. That's a job.
That's your oversight plan.
That's the roster. They're going to bring in 4,500 reviewers.
Way to go, Einstein. This is your little plan here.
What a lovely title. What are you? I'm a Facebook reviewer. Oh, you're the guys that look for suicide and murder. That's one way.
Yeah, well,
we do.
Videos need to be pulled.
Yeah, it's going to have to happen. Man.
Mark, we have a problem. I think this guy wants this job. I think he likes this job too much.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does that interview go? Can you handle death? Oh, absolutely. There's a little twinkle in the eye. You're like, oh. Okay, well, thanks for coming in, Roger.
The darkness is creeping towards you.
Yeah. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Help everybody mow with an attitude.
Oh, God, look at that. Is that guy...
He's dead. That dude's dead.
Man, that's crazy,
That's why you don't do that. I don't know about you. I'm not on a motorcycle. That's not my thing. That or I've seen these jet ski guys do flips over each other. This extreme sports stuff is brutal.
Dude, you know, I was in a motorcycle accident when I was 16, man. I cut my foot off.
Whoa. You cut your foot off? You got a club foot? Is that a wooden foot?
No, I
Did
remember.
you kick a 63-yard field goal?
I can still dance. The doctors put it back on, man. It was pretty quick, but I hit a mailbox.
You're not kidding.
No,
You cut your foot off on a mailbox.
On a mailbox.
Did you feel it?
No.
I knew it. I told everybody with severe injuries, you don't ever feel it. Like a shark bites a guy's leg off, he never feels it.
Didn't feel it at all.
Seriously, you cut your foot off?
Yeah, I seriously cut my foot off.
Which foot?
My right foot.
Like halfway down? All the
about
way
halfway.
Up, at the ankle?
At halfway. Look.
Holy. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a 1,000,000 bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call, because we're going to let 1,000,000 people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts, and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now, and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait.
800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. That's 800-489-1397.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Super Lube. Super Lube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history.
May 3rd, 1936. Joe DiMaggio made his major league debut for the New York Yankees. He was heralded as the find of the decade and lived up to the praise from day one when he got 3 hits, including a triple in the Yankees' win over the St. Louis Browns. From that point on, DiMaggio would have a Hall of Fame career that included a 56-game hit streak.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. Florida State baseball has the week off before a 4-game set with Pacific at Hauser over the weekend. 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. That leaves the spotlight on tonight's softball game between Florida and Florida State. It's number 1 against number 2. First pitch set for 7 o'clock. NBA last night, Boston is now up 2-0 against Washington, while the Warriors take out Utah in game 1 of their series. Tonight, Toronto looks to even up the series with the Cavs at 1 game apiece, while the Rockets and Spurs go at it out west. It is Kentucky Derby week. Classic Empire has been made the early favorite for the Derby, coming in at 4-1. And more information is now coming out about that contract that Nick Saban signed. Next year, he'll make $11.125 million, the most amount of money any college coach has ever made in a year, as Coach K, who got 9.7 back in 2011.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Always love this song because of this opening line specifically. Turn it up. Takes a little while. Hang on.
I've never been too good with names.
And if you know me, you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. And then I'm always a jerk about it. I get defensive. I'll say things like, well, it's just not important for me to remember that guy's name. And that's just a terrible response to not remembering a name.
What you're close to encyclopedic with is, the circumstances of a conversation you had with a
I can
relative
always
stranger.
do that. Right. But
that's right. Your wife worked in
I can do that.
Exporting.
I can tell you what we talked about, how long we talked about it, and all that other stuff, but I can't tell you what the hell your name is. I mean, it's the worst. It's like and what's really bad is when it happens and it's like, well, I've known this guy 12 years.
There have been interns/employees that have come through the stations over the years.
Well, now part of that is, and you can call this like really ridiculously dismissive and a sorry trait on my behalf, and it would be true, but I'm not going to deny it. Some of it is truly that there are some people I just don't care to remember, or it's not important for me to remember their names. And so I'm not saying that to be mean, but that's true. We've had some interns where it just didn't matter if I knew their name. They were never going to do anything that I cared to. I mean, we weren't going to carry on the relationship.
The best is when, for whatever reason, you have a name in your head and you're convinced it's Rick. It's like, his name's not Rick, dude.
Well, I don't think I walk around
Jeremy.
calling people the wrong name.
Hey, Tom, go tell Rick out there that I need this stat. It's Jeremy, and sure, I'll go tell him the stat.
Well, and obviously
No, it's not Rick, is it, huh? No.
Nope. Jeremy's been here almost a year. He's not making a great impression, but if he could get that stat for me, things could change. Maybe me and Jeremy. Oh, yeah, that's true. That happens. What do you think was the question posed to Manny Machado after the Chris Sale incident last night, in which they threw at him behind him again? And his answer was expletive, expletive, expletive. I'm literally quoting here without using the expletive. Expletive, 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 before he said a word you could say. How awesome is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expletives before getting to the word coward. So, I mean, I have to say, that is really impressive. And for a guy who would get A's in courses involving the usage of and the stringing together of curse words to be used properly in a sentence, that would be me, straight A student over here on that. Try to get 5 in before getting to the first word you can say. That's hard.
Oh, that's nearly impossible, especially if it's a heat of the moment situation.
It's really well done. I mean, I'm impressed. I saw it, and I went, all right, look at that guy. He is getting it. That's good. That's well done. And then he said coward stuff, which sounds like a Lebowski quote. Expletive, 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 coward stuff, man. I mean, that's the stuff that you don't expletive do. But, I mean, I'm not on their side.
This man's a coward, Donnie.
Yeah. I'm not in that organization. They're still thinking about the same slide that I did. There was no intention on hurting anybody, and I'm still paying for it. They're still trying to get, he butchered this. As good as he was with the expletives, he butchered this part. I'm still trying to get thrown at. Good, he corrected himself. Threw at my expletive head. They're expletive throwing everywhere. Expletive, expletive. I've lost my respect for the organization, that coaching staff, and everybody over there. So that's Machado upon being thrown at yet again on the pitch behind him from Chris Sale. And they still haven't hit him. And, you know, the unwritten rule stuff, you got to hit the guy. And they can't. They just keep missing. The closest they came was the pitch at his head that hit his bat, which was a foul ball, which was kind of funny in the sense that how angry are you that not only do you nearly get your head taken off, it's strike one.
0-1.
Yeah, I mean, that'll hurt your feelings a little bit. But, you know, I'm one who loves the unwritten rules. Everybody else chimes in after these incidents and says how barbaric it is and how backwards it is and how yesteryear it is. And this is the problem with baseball. No. Oh, it's a beautiful thing about baseball. There are standards here, man. This is what we do. There are rules here, unwritten as they may be. But I am curious about this particular unwritten rule because we have probably reached that level where you're going to have to stand down. Sorry your pitcher's missed again. But we can't throw at the guy every time. I mean, I usually have a good handle on the unwritten rules. I typically can tell you, nope. This is what has to happen. It's like a meeting in the mob. And we're on the same page with this usually. If we're just talking at the bar having a beer and we watch an incident, you and I, without even referencing another incident or unwritten rules from the 50s or anything, we will both come to the same conclusion because they are principled. It's kind of an understanding. You have a tacit understanding of what should be. It's like being in the mob. You're all committing crimes. There's nothing but criminals amongst you, but there are rules. And you can't do certain things. And when certain things happen, there's a punishment that must take place that goes above and beyond the usual rule breaking.
He's got to go. Well, no.
It's not a got to go offense.
Yeah, he broke his leg.
Yeah.
If you want to break his ribs, okay.
Yeah. And this is all kind of agreed
put him
upon.
in the hospital.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of an agreed upon thing. So this is one where it's interesting because I'm not certain. I mean, I think they probably have gone too far here. I think I'm going to side with Machado, which I never do.
I thought you only nice.
Yeah.
I thought you only get one shot at him. If you miss, you miss.
You get more than one shot. I've never followed the one-shot rule. That's the kind of manager I am. I'll get you. But now here's the thing.
Especially if there's an injury involved.
Right.
Yeah.
And you come at my star player, I don't care if it was an accident. You got to get smoked. Now, here's what I do agree with. There's two things here. And it's very weird because this gets complicated. Pedroia screwed up. Pedroia screwed up big time, and he made his organization look stupid too. And you don't never go against the family. You can play the quote again.
Sure.
Here it is. He's in the dugout while Machado's looking over at the Boston dugout. This is from when they were in Baltimore, saying, it's not me. It's them. I didn't do this. And he's yelling it.
Sure.
The cameras pick up on it. He's pointing at the other guys.
You could even go back to one of the first scenes in The Godfather where an angry Vito Corleone tells Sonny, never tell anybody outside of the family what you're thinking again.
Right.
What's the matter with you?
Right. So here's the deal. That's fine that you think that way. It's fine that you think it's wrong that they threw at Manny Machado. It's wrong. All of that. That's fine. You can't vocalize that for all the world to see and hear. You can't do that. So he screwed up. Machado and him are friends, apparently. So whatever. He felt compelled to tell him that, hey, I'm not trying to hit you. Well, then the other mistake happened was that one of the guys that they wanted to throw at Machado came up with him in the minors. They were teammates. They're dear friends. He didn't have the heart for it. He couldn't hit him. It'd like be me throwing at you or you throwing at me. You'd be like, I understand Tom's got to get hit here, but he's kind of like my best friend. I'm not going to throw it. I'm not going to do it. Yeah,
it's all right, Jeff. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean,
just hit me in the cheeks.
Yeah, I mean, But what and you would hopefully that's how it would go down. But what I'm saying is, I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to send somebody else out there that doesn't give a damn about you.
I'm going to be like Rorschach.
They hit you in the ribs.
Do it.
Oh,
do it.
Great scene, brutal, but yeah. So I would have sent somebody else out there to hit him. So they've butchered this a lot of ways, and they've missed. That's the final component of all this. They've missed every time. So I was surprised to see him throw at him again. But Betts did get hit in between all of this.
Yes.
Hard. With a 95-mile-per-hour fastball in the thigh. Now, that's how you hit somebody.
Sure.
That's the proper retort.
It opens the door. It opens the door back up.
It opened it back up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said you got to throw at him again because they just went at Betts, who's your best player. They've already taken out one of your players. So it's not over. And people are going to bitch about this, and they'll complain, and they'll say it's bad for baseball. It's good for baseball. Who are you kidding?
You're talking about Orioles Red Sox in May.
And everybody is. Now, Joe Torre said today that Major League Baseball is still addressing assessing a possible Chris Sale suspension. And, okay, I'm sure Sale understands that's part of it.
Well,
I mean,
we'll trust Joe's judgment. He does know how to manage these situations.
They all know what has to happen here. But I don't, it's weird. I don't think you can throw at him now.
No, and Machado got it right again yesterday when he said, if you're going to hit me, just bleep and hit me.
Well, he got it right the first time, too. He knew he was going to get hit.
Just hit me.
Hit me. Get it over with. He was going
I'd like to be able to stand in the box after this with,
And I'll tell you what. I mean, I got to give a lot of credit here. First of all, he strikes out twice because they threw behind him, so it was effective. He looks terrible because he can't get comfortable in the box. He thinks every pitch is coming at his face. Well, then he starts to figure out they're not going to throw at him, and he hits one 500 feet again. They can't pitch to him whenever he's actually comfortable in the box.
Maybe that's the new strategy.
Throw at him every time.
There it is.
Yeah.
Keep him loose.
Well, Bob Gibson would approve, but I just wonder, I think it's that brawl that's coming at some point this year is going to be a good one because now feelings are truly hurt. It's not just for appearances. Like, anger is there. It's in play. Let's do probables. Fire it up, baby.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Gonna make you happy, T. Lizzie. Robbie Ray on the hill tonight for the D-backs. Gio Gonzalez goes for the Nats. Jays, Yankees, Marcus Stroman, CC Sabathia. We got Orioles, Red Sox, Kevin Gausman, and Drew Pomeranz. Oh, man. Old Kevin struggling with a 7.5 over in his last three starts. Cleveland Indians, Detroit Tigers, Carlos Carrasco, Matthew Boyd. We got Marlins, Rays, Adam Conley, Blake Snell. Conley sucks. Pirates, Reds, Jamison Taillon, and Rookie Davis. Guy's name is Rookie Davis. He's making his fourth career start.
12-year vet.
Mets, Braves, Jacob deGrom. I take it to beer. Bartolo Colon.
Trade back for him.
Phillies, Cubs, Jared Eichhoff, Jake Arrieta, who likes steroids, allegedly. Athletics, Twins, Kendall Graveman, and Hector Santiago. Rangers, Astros, Nick Martinez, Charlie Morton. White Sox, Royals, Mike Pelfrey, Nathan Carnes. Rockies, Padres, I don't know who that is. Antonio is his first name. Jared Weaver going to go for the Padres. Still pitching. Jared Weaver. My Lord. Angels, Mariners, Ricky Nolasco. Still pitching. My Lord. Sashi Iwakuma. And then finally, Giants, Dodgers, Jeff Samardzija, and Julio Urias. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Good work out of you, Tom. Good work out of you, Matthew. The front row is up next. Stay tuned. Have a great night, everybody. Be nice. Talk to you later.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle